Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, do you know what day it is? I hope so. It's Saturday. It's the end of the week. This is Living SplitScreen, episode 32. 32 weeks strong in the game with my brother from another here, Pong Steel, giving you that live, raw, uncut, authentic, organic entertainment that me and only Pong Steel can bring you. With that being said, I got some Forza. We're already starting early. Forza Horizon.
Are you recording?
5.
Wait,
Yes.
Are you recording?
I am recording. We're live. Everything is going good. Hopefully the people love us. Again, it's Green Man. I'm gonna start over. Got some Forza Horizon 5 gameplay playing in the background for y'all. At some point, I'll fix my not being able to talk at some point. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, more coffee, the more octane we get going in here. But hopefully y'all enjoy the gameplay, man. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. If there's any lag or anything, y'all definitely let me know. But with that being said, this is the most uncanny place that you guys can ever find yourselves. I am one of the hosts, Steel Rain, coming at you, and I have to pass it off to my brother from another, the uncanny gentleman himself, the man who puts the Pong in soul, or the soul in Pong, depending on how you look at it, and is just the he's the one that wants X-Men to come back to its full totality. The man himself, the legend. What's going on, my brother from another, Pong Steel? What's up, man?
Steel. Good morning. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Always impressive introduction. Living SplitScreen, ladies and gentlemen, gamers across the world. Welcome to episode 32. 32. That's right. And as Steel said, we're going to be talking about Forza today.
Yeah, we're talking about Forza,
new game that maybe you guys aren't aware of. So, no, man, it's been a great week again. Unbelievable. First of all, shout out to Crazy Louie for blessing me with the gift
showing love,
of
man.
The premium edition to Forza so I could play it. I was going to wait until this week. You saw my video, or maybe you didn't, my little Twitter video that I put out saying that I was going to wait and I'll see you guys next week. But yes. Crazy Louie, again, blessed me with a gift of the premium edition. So I have been able to jump into it myself for a little bit. So, man, what a great time to be gaming, man. Skyrim has still got me. We got word this week for anybody looking forward to the anniversary edition. Finally, the pricing leaked out. So $20 to upgrade on the 11th for anybody who has Game Pass or anybody who owns the special edition of Skyrim already. $20. Not a bad deal. If you don't own it at all or you don't have Game Pass, guess what? $50, get the full package. So that finally came out, but I'm looking forward to that as well this week because, of course, I've been playing Skyrim this week until, of course, Forza showed up.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, man. Look, we got so much to talk about. Steve,
we do, man. It's probably going to definitely be one of them shows today for sure.
It's going to be one of them shows. Sega. But since we're here. And we already got the chat is live. We got 17 people. We could start out with Forza. So Steel, you want to shout out the people who are here, and then we can jump into Forza Horizon 5 thoughts right off the gate.
You want to start there off the gate? You don't want to tell the people the upcoming games first?
Well, we can go to the upcoming games if you want to.
No, it's completely up to you. But
I'm flexible.
I definitely want to shout out to the people in the chat, man. We got to show love to the people who come here on a week-to-week basis and give us that good old love that we need to get us right now. But Tony Grasso, what's going on? Crazy Greek dude, Awful Grim Bones, what's going on? He said he's on his job's iPad watching the show while playing the game on the box. Hey, man, but just don't get in trouble while you're at work. Just keep it low key, man. Black Card 1, what's going on, my guy? Paul AFC, Nix is in the house. What just happened? What's going on, man? You rocking out. Micah Ford, what's going on? Who else we got in here? Stubbs was in the house. 4GQTV was here, getting it rocking and rolling. Crazy Louie. Hey, man, again, it was my pleasure to make you a mod, man. You've been showing everybody nothing but love. Again, I was teasing Pong DMs a little bit. I was like, hey, man, And I think Louis might send you that code. Hey, next thing you know, a day later, he's playing Forza and having a good time, man. But that's what gaming should be about, man. That's what it's about. Doom Reaper, what it's going on. Tempest Son, my Gundam brother from another, what's going on. Also, the gaming heavy hitter, man. I need to get some multiplayer gaming in with him, man. Everybody keeps saying that he's a shooter. I like to be around some shooters, man. Nah. General C, you already know, nothing but love, man. Oh, that's another thing. We have to shout out. Again, at some point, I'll be professional enough to come down with a script of some sort to where I can say, yo, much love to the Midweek Mix-Up Collective. Again, that let us be ourselves. They don't force us to do anything in particular. They don't actually force us to shout them out either, which is kind of the crazy thing, man, because, hey, if I'm repping y'all, I definitely would want y'all to shout me out, but it's one of those things where Dutch and the guys over there, Wandering Dutch, if you don't know, for those of you who might be listening on the back end, or maybe you're new to this whole community thing, he's an amazing gentleman. He definitely brought us into the collective because he felt like we were an integral part of what's going on with the community right now. The growth, the passion, the energy, the authenticity that we look for within the industry, or just within the community, period. And I can do nothing but show him mad love, mad props. Again, once we hit 401 subscribers, he will be sending out a lovely custom Xbox or PS5 controller to a lucky winner. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But as I do, let me shout out some more people as we get in here. Victor Click, HTK360 dropped in the blue one. Yes, we definitely got to get in Forza, man. There's plenty of space on there. We got to link up. Per Plunk 1983, what's good? Stubbs, I believe I shouted you out already. Man, it's good to see y'all, man. Again,
Fat Boy Horror.
Thank you.
Boy, he's always in here. Hustle and Motivate showed up early. Casket Repair. Look at, we got clowns in the house for QGTV.
Ooh,
or for G.
I believe I got him.
Excuse me. Did you get him already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who else we got? We got Meisuko is in the house. Doom Reaper. Just want to make sure that we grab everybody. So appreciate all of you.
Nah. Stanley Francois is not in the house yet. Well, I'll shout him out once he gets in here. He has to get that special shout out. But yeah, man. It's been a crazy week, man. I'd imagine for us both. Again, it is Forza week, so that's an amazing thing. So we're definitely getting into that. Again, man, do you want to start off with just getting into Forza heavy and then getting into some of the upcoming games, or kind of do it the other way?
Well, let's do the upcoming games. Everybody kind of expects it, so let's get the upcoming week out and make sure that everybody
get it out
is
the
aware.
way, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So let's do that. So we got the week of the 8th coming up here. So of course, most of the time it starts on the 9th. Tuesday is a big day. So let's start there. Airborne Kingdom. That's right. Airborne Kingdom. Is coming to basically everything. This is from the Wandering Band. This is a simulation game. Oh, now you speak my language. Been out on PC since December of 2020. It is coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch. I am going to have to look at this one. Interesting. I always love my.
Hey man, it might end up being in the. No, it probably won't end up being in the Game Pass. I don't know if we end up hearing about
this one. Is definitely not going to be Game Pass, but. Oh, this definitely is looking up my style here. I love the artwork, and it's definitely got a Middle Eastern flavor to it. Okay, all right, I am going. A little. Look at that little steam.
Look at you already.
Okay,
enticed.
All right, let's get back.
See, you wanted to skip the upcoming games. What's going on?
I might. Yeah. I gotta get that. I gotta go check that out. I gotta see.
Check that out, man.
Okay. All right. Back on track. Disney Classic Games Collection.
I know you're looking for this
4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, pre-ordered, ready to rock and roll, coming out. Obviously, again, 3 classic titles, excuse me. You got Aladdin, you got Lion King, and you got Jungle Book. Digital Eclipse, Nighthawk Interactive. They keep putting these out. If you've never played them, especially Aladdin, for sure, for me personally, out of that group, is always going to be classic. I played it on the Genesis, which was the best version. I don't want to hear anybody come in here with that Super NES garbage that people still try to argue. No. Genesis was the one to play. So yeah, but the whole collection is coming out, so that's pretty cool. Football Manager 2022. This is also coming to Game Pass. This was a
big title. It's a big title.
It's a big title. Published by Sega.
Sega.
So, anyways, Sports Interactive, obviously, as we all now realize, even though us in the US consider the NFL the biggest thing going, elsewhere in the world, of course, it is football, soccer, as we call it here. But Football Manager 2022 is a sim through and through. A lot of people love this game. It is very popular. So that is coming out this week. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. It's got already great reviews. Sega was already bragging about it, man, which they should. No, they're not. Forza Horizon 5 gets its official launch on November 9th. That's right. We're going to talk about it in a second.
We will, definitely.
I think everybody's heard far and wide how great this game is. If you're on Twitter, that's all that's being posted right now. A lot of us even forgot that Call of Duty even launched this week. That's how big Forza Horizon 5 has been. So that's pretty impressive. So we will get into that, but that is coming out. Everybody that did not get the premium edition, hey, it's coming soon, Tuesday. So get ready because you are in for a treat. Jurassic World Evolution 2. That's right. Again, love me some dinosaurs. I fooled around with the first one. It is really fun. It's actually really kind of difficult because those dinosaurs like to break out of their cages a lot. I don't know. I don't know if they changed it up for Jurassic World Evolution 2. I have not read the reviews yet, but hey, look, Jurassic Park is always going to have a special place with me. So, it's always fun to build. I love those style. I wish I could have more time to get back to them, but that's coming out. PlayStation 5, Series consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on November 9th. Jurassic World Evolution 2. Then we've got Among Trees coming to PC on the 10th. A little adventure game. Looks like from FJRD Interactive. And that is coming on November 10th. Love the artwork on the cover there.
Yeah, that's pretty fire, actually. I like that.
There, man, I'd hang that up. Frame it.
Thanks.
Oh, another one that a lot of people have been waiting for. Now, this has gotten a little interesting. Bright Memory Infinite is coming to PC November 11th. So obviously everybody remembers the big kind of initial showcase that Xbox had. Bright Memory Infinite, of course, famously started as a solo dev in China, a young guy working out of his apartment. He has now expanded. He released the tech demo, I guess you want to say, for it, which is available now, but Bright Memory Infinite is the full experience. Now, we're supposed to still see it this year on console.
Yes, that says it.
But he did delay it. The PC version is coming out first on November 11th. So he said in a tweet, he updated in a tweet that he will have word on the Xbox version soon, that he is working on some things to get it ready. So hopefully we're still going to see it this year. This one caught my attention right away. Bright Memory Infinite. I know a lot of people did not like the tech demo. A lot of people said it had a lot of issues. There are other people who said they just had a great time with it. So I can't wait to try the full version. I did not try the demo. I did not pay the $8 for it. I'm kind of waiting for the full version. But this is definitely one to keep your eye on. Ultra impressive visually. For sure. It catches, again, right out the gates, it's going to grab your attention, especially from a small team. It's up there. So I can't wait to see what comes out of this. Can't wait to see the reviews on PC and see how it's running now. Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, of course, Steel, the definitive edition, I should say. Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, all coming back. Actually looks better than I had hoped for, but still not as much. But of course, San Andreas is coming to Game Pass.
Yes.
So that is already pre-downloaded. Of course, I'm going to be jumping into that. It's on Game Pass. Why wouldn't I? I got to go see what they did. San Andreas is great. Vice City is still my favorite. PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus, I should say, gets the Grand Theft Auto 3. Yep. So Vice City, my favorite, is left out in the cold, nowhere to be found unless you buy the entire thing. So you can't buy them separately, but the definitive edition is out November 11th. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
Ooh.
I know that's going to sell like hotcakes. So
it might. We'll see.
It's a cash grab.
We'll see.
Hey, the Switch, better late than never on this one, but look, it's worth the playthrough. It's rough. It's especially going back to it now. But look, if you've never played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and you got a Switch, even if you have played it and you just want the mobile on, the mobile version of it, it's coming out November 11th. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. This is not the remaster that they're doing. Obviously, this is the old one. This is going to be a straight port to Switch. But again, there is a reason why some of us, a lot of us consider this one of the best RPGs of all time. So check it out if you got the Switch. November 11th. The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Special Edition. Anniversary edition they should have put on here because that's what it is officially called. The special edition is already out, but this is going to be, so again, let's just run through this real quick because there's a lot of confusion out there. So for people who own the special edition, you will get the PlayStation 5 series upgrade for free. That will also include 4 packs of content, including fishing, one big extra mission that has been added. So you get the upgrade for free. Doesn't cost you a dime. I've already seen people on Twitter starting the bullshit already, saying, "Oh, we're going to keep the same energy. They're charging for the upgrade." Blah blah. They're not charging for the upgrade. Okay, they're charging you for the content, the 500 pieces of creator developed content out there. That's what they're charging you for. So again, get your upgrade for free. If you're on Game Pass, you already own the special edition because it's in Game Pass. So you're going to get that series console upgrade, no extra cost, plus 4 pieces, including fishing, which is what everybody's kind of looking for here. So that comes out on November 11th. Like I said in the beginning of the show, pricing finally came out. If you want the full anniversary edition that includes 500 pieces of creator content that's been created through, obviously, Bethesda embraces the modding community. 500 pieces are included, $20. You get it upgraded for free for the series console. $20 gets you all the extra content. $50 if you don't own the game at all, or if you don't have Game Pass, and that'll get you the full boat. Okay, so that's the deal with the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, as it's mainly known as. It's for the anniversary edition. So look forward to that. Again, I will be there day one. Shin Megami Tensei 5 getting rave reviews. This is one of my favorite old school RPG series. This is the one that spun off Persona. This is the mom and dad of Persona. Okay. Shin Megami Tensei 5 rave reviews. I am mad that it's locked down to Switch. I am mad that Shin Megami Tensei has never appeared on Xbox. Hopefully that's going to maybe change now with the Sega deal. We shall see, but right now that is a Switch exclusive, comes out November the 12th. Great series, much darker than Persona even.
Yes.
So it's special. Sherlock. Oh wait, no, we're getting too far. That's it for the week. So we got some week. Also to note this week, early access for Battlefield 2042 starts for anybody who bought the Ultimate Edition,
or if you have EA Play Pro,
or Game Pass. You are going to. They have.
They did say that. Yeah, nice.
Now that EA is a part of Game Pass, obviously, as we all are aware of, you get 10 hours And that starts this week. They're actually going to give you early access and let you start that 10-hour free demo for Battlefield 2042. So if you're on the fence, if you played the beta, didn't like the beta, saw the glitches that a lot of people were having, get to try it. So again, they're doing everything they possibly can to try to get people invested in this. So, hey, take advantage. If you got any interest in Battlefield, I'm going to be there day one, right out the gate. So I'll test it for everybody. And I'll have my thoughts coming up next Saturday. I probably have already put some time into it. So, but again, everybody else, that is to be noted. I think I covered the Game Pass games. So this coming week, as far as we are aware of, we get Football Manager 2022.
Airborne Kingdom is on Game Pass.
Is it?
Yeah. If it's there's just the games coming to Xbox.
Yeah, it's just game. Remember,
gotcha.
It says Game Pass.
You're right.
So yeah, that's the mistake I made the first week. Football Manager 2022 coming to PC and console Game Pass this week. Of course, Forza Horizon 5 for everybody. Standard edition will be there for you on November the 9th.
Yeah.
And I think that is all that we are aware of right now for Game Pass. San Andreas will be there as well. But yeah, that is this week for gaming. Nothing new on the PlayStation side. So that's what we got for this week. So Steel, I'll pass it back to you and let you start out. You have put in a lot more time than, well, I should say because I don't know for sure, but probably from how we were talking in the background, you put in a lot of time already on Forza Horizon 5.
Yes.
Where are you at with this? Does it live up to the 10s, the masterpieces that it's getting? My God, shout out to IGN. That's 2 10s this year for Microsoft. Yeah. Flight Simulator got a 10 from them, and now Forza Horizon 5. I don't think this has ever happened in the history of gaming. Yeah. But IGN showing some love for Forza Horizon 5, and I guess technically you could probably say Deathloop too, since it is a but do you think this is deserving of the praise it's getting? Is it a big enough jump from Forza Horizon 4? Where are you at, brother, in your travels through Mexico? What do you think?
All I gotta say is Viva la Mexico, man. That's all I gotta say on that, man. No, but to be completely honest, as someone who's been a Forza Motorsport fan since it's been out, I also grew up with GT and so many other racing games that have grown up with me through the era. You know what I mean? Over the last couple decades that I've experienced, at least from the 90s and so. To me, as a avid Forza player now, I would say around Forza Horizon 3 or so, I kind of have fallen off the Forza train. As far as heavy as I was playing it, I used to get it thousands of hours in it. I'm also the guy that plays simulation everything on the hardest difficulty. A lot of those things kind of just always have carried over with me. So going into this one of the biggest things that I do want to speak to for sure is the whole thing with people saying that this isn't a sufficient enough of an upgrade, or it's not a standalone type of game in itself. And I want to let people know right now, shout to Smitty Smith, I see you in here. But I wanted to let people know right now, this game is at least twice of what Horizon 4 is, at least, at bare minimum. I'm talking about depth. I'm talking about quality. I'm talking about size, the overall feeling of the game. The other thing that I feel like a lot of people aren't realizing either is that we just came from a generation where you were playing racing games at 30 FPS maximum. And I think that's one of the biggest things that's giving this Forza more credence, is because you're getting that full 60 frames, bare minimum, almost full image quality, closest. I believe the Xbox is doing full 4K at 60 FPS. No, it doesn't have all the fancy bells and whistles with like ray tracing or anything else like that, which I do think they're trying to implement ray tracing at some point.
It's not native though.
No, it's not native. Of course, yeah.
Not native. Yeah, it's native 4K 30 on the quality mode.
Right. On the quality mode. But of course, I mean, it's not going to be that on the performance mode because you're trying to keep 60 frames per second. So with that, the game plays absolutely stunningly. It's a huge upgrade from Horizon 4. And I've seen a lot of different people speak on the handling. I do have to agree with that. As someone who plays on simulation steering, I definitely noticed that, especially compared to like the standard steering. You can definitely notice a difference. The standard isn't bad, but again, I like to have more control of the vehicles, so I prefer simulation. So, and I definitely notice a difference as far as, again, the tightness of it, giving me more control. I also went in and tuned my actual steering options. Don't forget that you also have that option to tune in those dead zones and everything, so it's more responsive to how you play. Hopefully you guys can notice, because I pride myself a lot in my driving style and my overall the way that I play Forza, because the way that I've always played Forza, I'm not as hardcore as I used to be, at least, because when I say I used to play simulation everything, I'm talking including damage. So, and for those who are familiar with any simulation game, GT did the same thing. If you took actual damage to your vehicle, like, you can't sit here and get into a bumping match with vehicles, because that can mess up your motor somehow, or that can mess up whatever else the case might be. And now you have a part of your power that's not there anymore, and you can't be competitive in that race anymore. When I do these races, I look to get first place in every race. Again, right now, I usually play, like, up to this point, I've always played on unbeatable. This Forza Horizon, that's something else that I also want to give credence to, is the drivatars. The improvement to the drivatars gets me excited for the next motorsport, because motorsport is the next competitive racing step, whereas Horizon is the arcade step. The drivatars are definitely more competitive now. They're not, they're not scared to bump you out the way. They're not scared to cut corners. They're not scared to spin you out if they need to, if you get too close to them. They're much more aggressive. I've seen so many different people's driving styles, because, the drivatars, one of the things that always bothered me, because I thought that the drivatars are supposed to be based off of difficulty, like the people that you see were based off of difficulty, and it's more so, it's just those people off your friends list, their driving styles are mixed in with the actual AI. So the difficulty is still set at whatever difficulty. So just because I see Pong Soul on my unbeatable difficulty doesn't mean that he's necessarily playing on that, but you definitely get that experience of that driving style that he might have within that. So it gives you, again, Forza does really well with making you feel like you're not by yourself, like you're not just racing some random AIs. So that's always been an amazing thing. But overall, again, man, just the depth, the quality of the game, the breath of fresh air that it has put into the racing genre, I think is the most amazing thing. Again, to have all the quality that you have, to have the best frame rates that you can get, and for the game to look as well as it does. Again, this game looks either as well or maybe a little bit better than Forza Motorsport 7. And the reason I make that comparison is because Motorsport 7 looks better than the Horizon 4. And Motorsport came out beforehand. And what gets me excited for the next Motorsport is because if that's the trend, and that's always been the case, where Motorsport came out before and it always looks better than the Horizon that comes out after it, for Horizon to come out before the next Motorsport, only, and for it to look the way that it does, only tells me that Motorsport is going to be on a completely different level. Motorsport is not. Turn 10 is about to turn the industry on its head when they release this game. If you think they're about to take the competitive racing genre to the next level, if I'm basing everything, this is supposed to be the branch from Turn 10. Playground Games is the branch off from Turn 10 to say, hey, make this arcade racer. We want to be able to pull in more people. That's what makes Horizon so great, is that it's more attractive to the everyday racer. You know what I'm saying? Or people that just want to get into a good racing game. Whereas Motorsport is more niche because it's a little bit more competitive, but it's also one that a lot of people like because it reminds you of the classics like GT or Project Gotham or, those games like that. So, I've been having an amazing time with it. I probably got maybe 10 hours in it, at this point, and it's been up and down. the worst thing that I've experienced so far is that for whatever reason on PC, I'm way above recommended spec. I'm way above whatever the requirements and everything. But for some reason in the Xbox store, I'm not talking about not the Microsoft store, not the Windows store, the Xbox app that hosts Game Pass, every time that I start Forza up in there, it always crashes as soon as I start driving. It loads just fine all the way up to that point.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And then the game crashes. No errors, no nothing. I've uninstalled the game, put it on my C drive because that's where my main SSD is, my NVMe SSD, faster storage. I was like, maybe it's a storage problem. It can't access. No, it doesn't matter what. I've disabled so many different things. I've messed around with so many different things. Again, if I didn't have my Series console, I would be a sad puppy right now because I would still be troubleshooting my PC. Right. To figure out what the issue is or whatever else the case might be. And who knows? PC's up to date. But that's the only problem that I've had. But other than that, I've had an excellent time. All the gameplay that you're seeing here today was recorded on the Series S. So take that for what you will. I feel like the gameplay looks pretty good. Again, I was amazed by it half the time. Yes, does it look better on my PC? Yes. But I also can't play it on my PC for whatever reason at this moment. And again, I'm still working on troubleshooting some things in the background. The game just released. That's the life on PC, but I have had access to it on Series. Pong.
Yeah.
You know, I know that you're a car guy and everything. You said that you're a Forza guy in the background and everything. We haven't had a chance to run it together or nothing like that yet.
Yeah.
So for me to really see those skills. But you were really but you told me, I was actually surprised that you play on the highly skilled difficulty, which is pretty nice. Because I found myself having to actually drop down to that difficulty at some races, just because. Look, the map's brand new. Again, you also see that I play with the braking line on. It's like the map's new, man. I mean, it's like, and also if you're not an avid Forza player where you're playing every day, it's like you want to get used to the game and make sure that you're driving as efficiently as possible. So, but how are you feeling about it? How has your time in Mexico been with Forza, and has it been everything that you needed it to be?
First, Steel, I gotta love you, brother. I love you because you are so competitive that you gotta defend what people are seeing on the screen. Look,
I do.
play the game how you want to play, man.
It's me personally. See, that's what's crazy. That's what's funny. That's what makes it even funnier because it's just me.
Because you're so competitive. I know because you're defending within yourself. Like, I come from a totally different thing, right? Side of this, as far as how I play Forzas, right? Okay. So, anyways, yes, I am a car guy through and through. Grew up in a car family. My stepdad, my mom still owns her '68 Dodge Dart 383 4-speed on the floor that she purchased in 1971.
Nice.
Okay? She still owns it. She's the one who taught me how to power shift. Look, okay, I grew up in my stepdad, God rest his soul, built his own 64 Dodge 340 with a Hemi. Okay, so pushing 800 horse, bored out. So I've grown up around cars my entire life. Now I obviously I came from a Mopar family. I've driven them, obviously American Muscle. But then I turned into a tuner head, right? But I'm a driver through and through. I don't like to work on them, right? I don't like to do that stuff. So, but I love cars. I've been playing Forza since the first one. Obviously Gran Turismo back in the day was the game to play.
100%.
But I do come from a different side. I am not competitive when it comes to racing games. I like just to sit down and enjoy. Driving to me is the experience, right? Driving to me, yes, racing is a part of it. Obviously when I owned in real life, brand new, my Mitsubishi Evolution 8, I got into plenty of street racing, right? So I've been there, done that. But when it comes to video games, I just want to just have fun. I do bump up the skill because, again, when you get to the lower skills, I just don't do you like unbeatable. Hell no, I ain't doing that. I ain't getting frustrated while I'm driving. Okay, I'm just not going to
turn to Dark Souls of racing.
Yeah,
that's me. That's me.
A different bowl. So for me, I got I do turn off some, I fool with the cars. I will turn off like ABS and that kind of stuff. Depending on what I'm doing, but I drive with the lines on. I don't care. I'm just having fun. I'm experiencing the world, and I'm buying cars and I'm trying all the different cars and whatever else. But Forza Horizon 5, like I said, I was going to wait until next week. I don't have FOMO anymore, so it was no big deal to me. I don't care about early access. I know that debate's been out there whether or not this is actually day and date. Then if Xbox has broken their promises, to me it's not. To me, it's just a bonus if you are going to buy the premium edition or the ultimate edition. Look, that's on you. And early access by 5 days or whatever it actually winds up being is not a big deal to me. It's just an extra bonus to everything else that you get. You're not just paying for the early access.
Exactly.
You're getting the season passes and you're getting the VIP. You're getting all that stuff.
Getting everything. Yeah.
You're getting everything. You're getting the car packs, all that good stuff. So for me, it's no big deal. But Forza Horizon 5, I went back and early this week and did play some Forza Horizon 4. It had been a couple months since I had popped it on. So I just wanted to get back, see it so that I could compare it to Forza Horizon 5 when I finally got it. And I just wanted to kind of be able to see the difference and remember the differences more clearly. So I went back and played Forza Horizon 4. Again, Crazy Louie pops me the premium pack. I pop it on, get it downloaded, and I turn it on. And from the get-go, from the time you drop in off of that plane, right?
You feel
we were talking about this behind the scenes. For me, it's not like, again, this is still a cross-gen game. This is not the upgraded engine, right? They're still using the engine. Yes, they've added to it. They brought in some new tech for a lot of the stuff. But for me, the little things, the little touches that they've improved upon add up to making this a brand new experience. Is it still Forza Horizon?
Yeah, it's a racing game.
Through and through Forza Horizon, right? Out the gate. But at the end, when you're playing it, there is so much to notice that it comes across as a different game. The car's handling is different. I feel the difference in it immediately. It is a much tighter experience. It's still arcadey. By no means am I saying that they're going sim here, because they're not. It's still arcadey, but they've tightened up the feel, the handling of the vehicles. Each car now does feel a lot different. Yes, before in Forza Horizon 5, there was differences in like classes for sure, but a lot of the cars felt very similar. Now there's a big difference in how they handle. Like when I got into the Supra,
everything.
Yeah, when I got in the Supra versus the Stingray, I could tell instantly.
Completely different.
I was driving completely different car. And again, there was differences in the older Forza Horizon. I'm just saying in this one, there's little touches that make it feel even more different than before. You really tell that you're driving a different car.
Right.
Lighting. We talked about this in the background. The lighting, what they've done with this new lighting system that they're using, and Digital Foundry did a great breakdown of some of these things. The lighting difference is huge to me. Not a lot of people, or I shouldn't say not everybody doesn't always notice the same things. For me, lighting is one of those things in the game. It's one of the hardest things to get right. It's one of the most important things that a video game can get right. And as we get into this gen, now, again, I know PC people have been experiencing this for a long time, because obviously on ultra settings, high settings, and the use of lighting in certain games for sure has made a difference. It's not just about ray tracing, but PC people have been able to experience this. But now that the consoles have caught up a little bit, again, they'll never surpass, but now they've caught up to this point, we get to start to see what devs can do. And when I'm driving through different biomes in Mexico and different conditions, weather conditions, that lighting is special. There is something, I talked about this last night on Xbox Ultimate. I took some screenshots. I posted one of them yesterday. I was driving through this storm, and I'll get to the real-time weather as well, because real-time weather
it's nice.
Wow. I was driving through a rainstorm, and then I came out of the heavy part of the rainstorm, and I don't know how many people here have thought about it or experienced it, or maybe it's just something that you just don't notice, but I do because I love
Mhm.
storms. But I came out of this heavy storm and I came into the lighter part of the storm.
Mhm.
And there are times like there sometimes you get a storm that's so thick it blocks out all sunlight,
Right.
gets dark, blah blah blah. It gets really really dark. But then there's those other storms where it's a light cloud cover
Right.
and you get sunlight still filtering through, but you
Mhm.
get that green gray effect across everything.
Yeah.
That to me is one of the I went back and I was trying to think like Drive Club had on PlayStation had great weather effects as well, but they never even captured this. I came out of that and went into this lighter area and everything was this gray green and it was light rain.
Mhm.
And I literally like could feel that moment because I've been driving in real life through those situations, but that lighting just caught that effect so well, that atmosphere so well that I was like, I stopped and I was like taking screen. I was like, wow, man, they've really nailed this
Yeah.
down. And then, like I said, driving through other areas, whether it's coming in and out of tunnels, there's just something different. The skybox in this game is so impressive with the cloud work, with the lighting effects. It just really does give you the feel that you are in a different moment of weather from one to the next. It
Right.
really does give you that impression. The daylight as the sun is going down is completely different. Absolutely love what they did there. Texture work is incredible. I'm playing in performance mode because I'm
Mhm.
not going to do the 30 mode. I did play quality for about 5 minutes
It
just
feels
to
completely
see
different.
it does. It's really good in performance. The quality you can tell, especially when you're at a dead stop, obviously. Again, I don't care because I'm not at dead stops too often. But when you are taking in the scenery, you can tell the difference when you
Yeah.
are in quality mode versus performance mode. But the texture work, as you in many, many parts of this game, whether it's buildings, the materials, the different materials, whether you're looking at brickwork, whether you're looking at a stucco, whether you're looking at stone, they did such a great job on this, and Digital Foundry broke down how they do this with their layers
Mhm.
of presenting different materials in this world. It really does bring it to life. And when you're going into photo mode and you get close to the ground and you can see, the flaws in the road.
Yeah.
Wow, like it's like again when you're doing 200 miles per hour, it don't matter.
Yeah.
But when you are taking those moments to stop, like the
It
attention
doesn't have
to
to be
that
there.
detail.
It
Right,
doesn't
right.
have to.
No, it doesn't have to be, but that attention to detail is what separates Playground from the rest. That's what puts Playground on the map.
Mhm.
I should say shout out to Playground, shout out to Xbox, shout out to everybody involved with this game because they really have created a racing game that stands above the rest when it comes to arcade racers, and it's going to be something that somebody's going to be chasing for a very long time. Uh, the cars themselves, you were talking about Forza Motorsport 7. This is the best part about this is that Turn 10 shares the assets with Playground, right? So
Mhm.
Playground creates the world because it's an open world
Yeah.
versus controlled tracks in Forza Motorsport 7. You
Right.
got you got a you got a situation there where Playground goes in and creates the entire world,
Yep.
and they spend as much time detailing the world as turn 10 does with their cars. And then Playground gets to go to turn 10. And yes, they can modify the cars. They obviously do some things different than Forza Motorsport 7 does, than turn 10 does with their vehicles. But at the end of the day, they are getting those assets that turn 10 has spent so much time getting the details right in
Right.
those vehicles that they get to bring them on over and it matches the world that Playground has created.
Mhm.
And that is where this separates because the car detail in this one, and again, not to go overboard here, but with the new reflection system, the new lighting system they're using, it really does add to that realism because the cars, let's be real here. The cars are the most important thing
Yeah.
in this in a lot of ways. Yes, there's
But
a
you see
lot
the
else to
most.
see. You see it the most, right? And you spend the most time. That's why you get a racing game is for the cars, right?
The driving experience,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's just really on another level when you look at that. and my time with this already, I've probably got probably like 3-4 hours in, maybe.
Right.
I don't even know because I haven't paid attention, but um it is a huge upgrade from Forza Horizon 4 in the overall package.
Okay.
Again, when you first pop it in, if you're not one of those people noticing details, or if you're just sitting down to play it, or if you're a casual fan of the series and you just enjoy the arcade racing, you may not notice it, but I notice it. And I think that's where all these scores came from, because I think that the people who do play these games a lot, and not every one of the reviewers were one of those people, but most people have sat down to Forza Horizon at some point because it's so accessible. Really notice all this stuff. And I think that's where these scores came from. That's why you see an IGN give it a 10 masterpiece, and it's deserving.
But
And
Pong,
I think, yeah,
it's just a racing game, though.
I know. It's just DLC.
It's just a racing game.
It's Forza 4 DLC is all it is.
Are you doing is driving cars around? It's not really a game.
Yeah, no, it's a game. Again, the clown show can go somewhere else, man. You can't. But you know what? I actually did see some people. Shout out to Marlin Gaming.
Yeah.
I do watch PlayStation shows. I do watch PlayStation guys from time to time. I don't watch the ones that are obviously just fanboys, but I do watch other people who have a broader thought process and can actually look at things in a semi-neutral way.
Debatable.
It's debatable. But man, I watched Marlon. Marlon streamed it for 3.5 hours opening night, man. And he, like, the first hour is just him going, wow, like nonstop, right? He even said, this is how you do a racing game.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to that point, when you are grabbing the attention of people that may not normally have given it a second look or may have already dismissed it, that's when you know you've hit it. And Playground hit it. I said it last night. We had a big discussion on Game of the Year stuff last night. And I've been saying this for a long time, since we first started seeing a lot from Forza Horizon 5. I think it should be nominated for Game of the Year. I think this should be the racer that breaks through that barrier and gets nominated. I'm not saying it has to win, but I think it should be nominated because of what they've done here. And that's about the best compliment I can give Playground at this point. They've gotten all the awards in the past. They've proven themselves. They are one of the best developers out there. Fable is in good hands, but at the end of the day, they are at the peak of their game when it comes to this. And I'm glad they did not try to do a whole lot different. I'm glad that all they did was build upon their excellence and what they knew how to do. I know a lot of people have been calling for this to change, that the series needs to be refreshed. No, it don't. It really doesn't. This is what I love about Playground and about Forza Horizon.
Right.
And all they did was bump it up. Unbelievably, they found a way to bump it up another level.
Yep.
So I can't wait to hop back into more Mexico. I can't wait to be able to try it out with you, Steel. And because again, in my past, I was playing Forza Horizon without a real community. So I haven't really experienced Forza again, other than a lone wolf in playing with randoms, right?
Yeah,
so to be able to jump in and race with people that I now know, that's probably going to give me a whole different perspective as well.
And what's crazy, and I think it's something that people look over all the time, is like, you don't have to be a hard ass like me and try to be a tryhard in every game that you play. You can also just be a normal guy, because I could jump into your world. We can do whatever races you want to do. And if I want to get first place, I'll get first place. And because we're on the same team, you get those credits for it regardless. And I always felt like Forza doing that has always been a great way of involving other people. But I feel like this one doing as well as it's doing is going to give Forza more credence than it's ever gotten before. I know I threw some smoke out there earlier in the week because, again, as we say, the clown show here has been going kind of up and down, saying, oh, DLC, this isn't a major improvement. This, again, you cannot honestly say any of those things. To be real with you, you can't. To say that literally means you're capping. Like, everybody likes to throw that word around. Like, no, in this situation, you're literally capping. If you're not interested in racing games, that's one thing. Just say that. I'm not a racing guy. I don't play them like that. Forza's not my thing. But I made somebody said something the other day that I saw, and I was like, yeah, it's DLC, but this DLC has been running the racing genre since 2001.
Yep.
Gran Turismo, when Forza Motorsport came out in 2001, GT has been irrelevant since. Like, the trend for GT has just gone down the drain since. If that doesn't show you what Forza has done for the community, like people say, oh, we need competition. Okay, where is it? Because Forza is competing with itself at this point. That's why Forza Motorsport isn't out yet. Yep. Because they looked at 7 and said, damn, we need to do more. Damn, look at Playground. Look at what they're doing. Oh, we need to do more. We want to take this to a new level, new tech, new engine, more physics. Let's take this to an even deeper level. And for people just to throw it around or try to throw it to the side or say, oh, it's not worthy of being a game of the year or whatever the case might be, is so absurd to me, because who defines what wins what? Are we gonna have, like, people say, oh, well, they can have the sports or racing genre for like an award or something? Why? What else is it competing with?
That's, yeah.
I saw, I believe someone was on Xbox Ultimate yesterday, or somebody before. I can't remember who it was, but made the reference of Dirt wants to be Forza Horizon. It does. I'm sorry. There's a reason why I played Dirt 5 and couldn't get past the third race. I couldn't. Because when I played Dirt 5, that was the first thing that it made me think of. I was, damn, this kind of feels like Horizon. There's nothing wrong with that, because Dirt's an arcade racer. It also, my familiarity with Dirt, that's what I'm saying about being a racing fan. Like, it's deeper than that for me. I've been playing racing games since like Pong GT, Gran Turismo, since Colin McRae.
Of course.
That's what I come from. So Dirt doesn't do the same thing for me. It's not Colin McRae, because the whole point of Dirt before was to take advantage of the rally racing scene. I feel like it's gotten away from that, and it's become more like Burnout in some senses. Oh, it's just some arcade racer now. It doesn't really feel like rally racing to me anymore, because Dirt was like they took it so serious. It was like simulation rally racing. Now I have to if I want my simulation rallying, I have to come to Forza Horizon to get it. If I want it to be some sort of familiar, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, if you're not a racer fan, I completely understand. Get out of the conversation. This game isn't irrelevant. Again, this is another game, another IP that people said were dead or was irrelevant, and is getting 10s across the board. Why? I thought it was irrelevant. Pong, I thought this game didn't matter. I thought it was just some racing game. All these people who usually give out these wish-washy ass scores are giving Horizon 5 the highest rated game of the year, the highest scores that we have seen this year. A racing game. Somebody's doing something right. And that's just my overall point, man.
They blur the line, Steel, right? They blur the line. Playground has found the formula that blurs the line between and does not allows more people to come in and have fun with a racing game, even if they aren't per se racing fans, right? I read some of the views. Some of the lower scores were from people who don't necessarily play racing games, but even with the lower scores, they still came out and said they enjoyed their time in Forza Horizon, right? As a game, they still enjoyed their time because the accessibility, and I'd be remiss not to say something about the accessibility.
That's the other thing that makes this so great.
Yes.
Is that. Please speak on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, what they've gone up and beyond, and I've seen a lot of people in the community who do have disabilities who have come out and said Forza has blown them away with what they've done. They've, again, I think I even saw that they've got sign language option for the hearing impaired. That, like, how many games include that? Not very many. They've got a whole for people who may not have or have problems being able to drive from point to point. They've got basically an auto drive system but people can still go experience the game, right? And we've
Your
seen this
car, yeah.
movement for a long time, right? But Playground has taken that to a whole nother level. But again, just overall, when you look at what Playground's done here, is that they've perfected the recipe
Mhm.
that allows the hardcore people like yourself who want to play unbeatable, who want to turn off, all the assists and
Mhm.
really tune their cars, or whatever the case may be. But they've also just somebody who just wants to jump in and having like a cruising USA experience. You can go do that
Right,
too. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can do that as well. You get to play this game how you want to play it. And it's got the range and everything in between for anybody. And that's the best part about that. And that's why I think you're seeing these scores, because it does not take per se a hardcore car person or a racing fan or
Right.
anybody who's gone back and has played Gran Turismo from back in the day or whatever the case may. It doesn't take somebody like that to be able to jump in this game and find something about it that they love, because they give you so many different ways to enjoy this experience.
100%.
Again, that's the best part about Horizon. And again, shouts out to Playground
Yeah.
for what they've done.
Yes, again, it gets me hype again as someone who's late into Fable also as an overall IP. This gets me excited for that. You know what I mean? The continued attention to detail, the continued want to dive deeper and bring out the depth in the game is something that is the most amazing to me, especially in a genre that they don't have to. They don't have anything else to compare it to, so they don't have to keep doing these things. And the fact that they are shows me enough and gives me faith that Playground, I have faith that Playground's going to go do good with Fable. So, I feel like it's just an enticing thing for me. It gets me excited, man. Again, golden age of gaming for sure.
Yeah, and it should be said too, for people who forget, there's an actual interview. I forget who it was with from Playground. God, I forget his name offhand. Oh, I can't think. Anyways, there was an early interview a year or two ago. I think it was a couple years ago now, where he came out and said, "We want to be the best development team in the world."
Yep.
Look, that's a lofty goal, but when you have a team that takes that goal and runs with it and says that's what we're going to do.
Yep.
And again, we're going to find out with Fable, because if they pull off Fable, taking an old IP, a beloved IP, and go outside of what they are known for, a completely different genre, and they pull off Fable and they get scores like this, that means that they are special. They already are in my eyes. What I'm saying is overall.
No, they're deeper than that. Yeah.
Yeah. That means that this is one of those development houses that doesn't get pigeonholed into what they just do best, but pushes themselves to go do something completely different, and not just make a new IP, but take a beloved franchise from a totally different development house that's no longer even around.
Yep.
And make it their own.
Yep.
And if they pull that off, again, Playground for me is already one of the top development houses in the game. But if they pull that off, that conversation is going to spread, because man, that is a special what do I want to say? What am I looking for? It is a special I just lost what I was going to say. Anyways, they're doing it right. They take this stuff, not that nobody else takes it seriously, but when they look at something like this, like a Forza Horizon, they don't say, "Hey, we make it good enough." They look at it and say, "How can we make this even better?" And they try to top themselves every time out. And I think that is where you separate some of the development teams out there, some of the studios out there that push themselves up and beyond even what many would consider already close to perfection when it comes to whatever they're working on. So again, shout out to Playground. I can't wait to see what they do with Fable for sure.
No, 100%. It's an exciting thing, and it doesn't give me, it doesn't do nothing but hype me up for the future for sure. With that, Hey man, play what you love what you play, right? But no, with that, I think the next place we could definitely take this into.
Yeah.
Let's bring Sega up, man. Let's bring this whole
Let's bring this whole
Sega, Microsoft,
Segra. We got Forza and we got Segra.
We got Forza and Segra. Yeah. I'm off, man. I'm off. Speaking all week, my tongue's just tied. I don't know what's going on today. But no, we can definitely take it the Sega direction, the Sega and Microsoft, since there was some more news dropped today from VGC that we're going to get into. Definitely, I got an article and everything for that. We could touch on Elden Ring a little bit if you would like to jump into that. That should... I don't imagine that being a forever conversation, but definitely something to touch on. And or we could talk about how irrelevant Vanguard seems to be right now.
I was gonna say too on that topic is Benji Sales. Shout out to Benji, great dude. He brought it up last night. Because he analyzes and he brought up the stats. The search results worldwide. Forza Horizon 5 was actually beating Call of Duty Vanguard.
Really?
Yeah. And again, it's just search results, but that shows the hype. And it shows that Call of Duty, while it's still going to sell a ton from a standpoint of hype, it's just not there this year. It's just not there still. So I mean, I guess we could just jump into that real quick thoughts on Call of Duty Vanguard. Again, haven't played it, not interested in buying it this year. I've said in the past I would pick it up on a deep discounted sale just to play the campaign, because I think the campaign looks fantastic. I've heard it's about 10 hours long now. People have already played through it. That part of it looks great. But the overall package, I'm not feeling it. I know they did some tweaks to zombies. I'm going to watch some videos on that and see what they actually did. Some people are liking it. But the multiplayer, I've watched a bunch of multiplayer now. I watched part of the opening night of Call of Duty Vanguard. If anybody watched that, I would call it, me personally, I would call it cringeworthy. That I can't believe they spent money to do that. It was not a good presentation. But the gameplay itself, from what I'm seeing, the maps, they're basically a bunch of old maps reworked with some new ones thrown in there. I'm not looking, it's not looking up to par with what I would expect from a Call of Duty in 2021. After what we saw from Modern Warfare, and even Cold War in some instances. I think Modern Warfare probably for most people was the better overall package. For me, I like Cold War. I think that this is actually a downgrade in my eyes. I know they've included now, they've got environmental destructibility, trying to do a little battlefield action there. But from what I was seeing, I was not impressed at all. On top of that, why are you going to make a World War II game in which you're not going to lean into the World War II aspect, but you're going to allow your guns to be modded out with red dot sights and all sorts of crazy scopes, attachments that have nothing to do with World War II? Why are you going to do that? I don't get it. Just make another Modern Warfare and throw it. Make another modern Call of Duty and say, hey, by the way, we're adding World War II guns for fun. Okay, do it that way. Why would you make a World War II campaign Call of Duty, but then in the multiplayer, basically it's Modern Warfare? I understand, because they do get the fact that people are tired of World War II games because of the limitations it does create in multiplayer with the weapons. But then again, why do it? Why? I just don't understand. That's what turns me off. But the gameplay looked, it looked like Call of Duty. It's just that again, textures. I was seeing, I just did not like the look or the design, the aesthetic of the maps that I was seeing. I don't know, Steel, do you have anything different on Call of Duty? I don't think you do, but
I don't have any interest in Call of Duty. Really at this point, I'm kind of completely off the bandwagon. I've been playing Call of Duty for so long, man, that it's just kind of become this monotonous thing. If I ever want to go back, I'd probably go back to Warzone before anything else. So to see this from Vanguard, as soon as I started seeing New World stuff in an old world, completely pulled me out of it again. Why call it one thing if you're just going to have modern warfare with World War II guns? I don't get that. Again, with everything that they got going on in their end of the park, not to throw any shade on any of the devs or anything like that, but Call of Duty needs to be given a break. Especially this year, there's two better games that I would rather invest my time in. That being Battlefield, that being Halo versus Vanguard or Call of Duty just overall. Again, I'm looking at it on Metacritic. It is sitting at 70, 80 Metacritic or score, whatever you want to look at. It only has about 16, 20 reviews on it overall, which is telling kind of in itself. It kind of tells me that because let's be honest, people get paid to review Call of Duty. People get paid to play Call of Duty. I mean, they do the same thing with a lot of games, but that's how they advertise their game. So it's hard for me to take the reviews of Call of Duty serious because the games get released on a year-to-year basis and they go up and down anyway. And because there's so many people who just deal with it, Crazy Lewis said he got a flat tire. Hey man, hopefully that ain't the case. But I want to use that reference. Call of Duty is kind of like a flat tire. It's like that one tire that you have a hole in that kind of just loses air over a few days that you have to just replace the air in because you don't know where the hole is at and you just don't have the time to go get it patched right then. That's how I feel about Call of Duty right now. It's that tire, it's losing air, and they just haven't quite found out where the air is leaking from. We all do, but the masses won't, and that's part of the problem. But at the same time, I mean, but it's not up to us. You know what I mean? It's going to be up to the overall people to see it. Is Halo going to do what it needs to do? Is Battlefield going to do what it needs to do? Because again, Battlefield's putting itself in a really weird place where I feel like it's kind of being forced out there, and I want it to be the best it can be. And I can feel like this can be the first time that Battlefield really kind of tramples the whole Call of Duty conversation, or just talking about it overall as far as like being a good FPS multiplayer to play. In my personal opinion, again, if you like it, I love it. It is what it is. Everybody has their own thing. There's plenty of Call of Duty people who don't play Battlefield for many different reasons. It is what it is. There's some people, those same people, don't like playing Halo, but like having armor in Call of Duty now. I wonder where that came from. But anyway, that's my opinion on it. COD is kind of dead in the water for me personally.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that you were right in your analogy with the flat tire. It's definitely limping along. It's still going to sell, but I do know that it probably won't sell as much. I would bet that it's not going to sell as much as previous Call of Duties this year. I think it has actually taken a hit this year for the first time in a while. And it's been a long time coming. And I think that Activision, in so many different ways, as we know, needs huge wake-up calls to 100%. Do anything. And I think this might be one of those years. And if Battlefield, again, the official DICE videos on Battlefield,
looking good, man.
Everything's fixed, man. So again, I'll let you all know next Saturday. But
we'll see
if Battlefield can pull it together, man.
Gonna be exciting.
They're looking to capitalize.
Again, me and you had a good time with it, so.
Yeah, and Portal is I don't know if you saw the videos this week, but Portal is looking good, brother. It is looking fun as far as what you can create, what other people are going to be creating,
right?
The mismatches, all that kind of stuff. It does look insane. I saw some Bad Company 2 Portal work this week. Oh man, just pulling at my heartstrings, Steel. Oh man, I can't wait to jump into that. But yeah, Steel. So Sega.
Yeah, man, let's jump into this whole Sega Microsoft thing. This partnership, this
alliance,
King Kong alliances, alliance partnership, whatever. Come on, man. They've been in partnership for a while now. It's one of those things to where I don't understand the people saying that this is nothing. People always like to talk about organic growth. People always like to say, people like to just throw around money all the time. And then they look at this and say, yeah, man, it's just like the Sony thing. Right? They're just getting cloud space. And eventually, And again, people have, and shout out to the people who have used common sense and said, Sony is a console holder, is a hardware seller. Sega's not. It's not the same thing at all. Sega has been working with Xbox behind the scenes for a long time. Just because we don't get all their games, there's to each their own. You know what I mean? That's kind of unfortunate, but things definitely seem to be working more in favor for one another than against each other at this point. And we wanted to bring this up because we wanted to kind of attack this differently this time, because there's been a multitude of people who have talked about this whole Sega and Microsoft partnership, but there was some news that came out today that VGC, otherwise known as the Video Game Chronicle.com, actually ended up putting out, and I'm actually going to throw that up on screen for us too, is that Sega could end up spending $1 billion on its super game, including studio acquisitions. They go on to say here, the Japanese publisher wants to create a major global title within the next few years. They already have one guaranteed. And I heard you guys kind of talk about it all week, and different shows talk about it all week, who are fans of Sega. And that's going to be Sonic. Shout out to my brothers, 3-Bit. Shout out to the brother Everborn Saga, who I always shout out here for the gaming is art and should be treated as such. But they're my Sonic brothers, man. And I'm right there on board with them, is that Sega is sitting on one IP on its own, one intellectual property by itself that can turn money hand over fist with no problem. And the only reason I say that is because there's a reason, me as a 90s kid, I like Sonic more than I like Mario. There's a reason why I connect with Sonic more than I do with Mario. And that entire thing. Yeah, Mario was always great for me when I was growing up. It was Mario. You played on the Game Boy platform, it was cool, but it wasn't Sonic. The attacks, the movement, the spinning, like all of it. And it sounds super simplistic and everything, because Mario has abilities and stuff like that too. You jump on people's heads, you get these abilities, you get big, you get small, fly across the map.
You don't run fast.
You don't run fast. Sonic's
on another level.
Sonic gets to go fast. And yeah. I mean, and I heard you like you said, up until Sonic Adventure 2, is the last time, well, in Sonic Heroes, because I really love Sonic Heroes too, sure. Also. But I would definitely put it up to the point of about Sonic Adventure 2, Sega was doing really well with the Sonic property. Though I do feel like it was also falling off at that point because they did not have anybody else to kind of continue the mantle after that. Yes, they released Sonic Adventure 2, and then they released Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Sure, I believe it was a year after that, and it ended up coming on GameCube and everything. Amazing game. But nobody has had a chance to, I'm not gonna say nobody's had a chance, but Sega has not given Sonic to the proper people yet, and it has blatantly been obvious. People say, oh, it's hard to capture Sonic speed. No, it's not. Why was Sonic Adventure 2 able to do it? Why was every other Sonic game before that able to do it just fine? Sonic Heroes captured Sonic speed pretty well, and it wasn't even about that. It was more about team play. Sonic Riders captured the speed, and Sonic didn't even need to ride a hoverboard. But it was an amazing, it was an amazing racing game. You know what I'm saying? And it captured the speed well. It's not about, it's hard to capture his speed. It's about, we just haven't had the right devs to work on it, or maybe had enough passion to bring out an excellent Sonic game. Because to be real, Sega is the only other company that has the amount of IPs necessary to fight Nintendo. Again, I make the reference of me being a 90s kid and me liking Sonic more than I like Mario for a reason, because that was the fight, along with PlayStation with Crash Bandicoot. Walking outside of the building saying, hey, you're not us. You know what I'm saying? Doing the same thing with Sonic, rubbing it in the face. Yay, Mario's not Sonic. It's not our blue hedgehog. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's so much opportunity being missed out. So we already know they have one. But they go on to continue. The Japanese publisher has committed to a new super game initiative this year, a mid to long-term strategy aimed at creating a major global title focusing on pillars of global online community and IP utilization. If that does not scream a bigger partnership than what people are making it seem like, I don't know what does. In the company annual report published this week, parent company Sega Sammy said it would consider investing up to 100 billion, which is yen, but $882 million over the next 5 years to achieve its super game ambitions. Again, when they also speak of super game, we also have to think of games like Phantasy Star. I know people were saying, "Oh, maybe it could be a Phantasy Star Online 3." They just released New Genesis. I don't think they're thinking about 3 right now. They're thinking about New Genesis and how to evolve that. What if they could put New Genesis on every platform, on everything?
Right.
Mobile, Xbox, PlayStation, PC. Wow. Over cloud? Phantasy Star over the cloud on the go? There's nothing out. There's very minimal games other than like Genshin Impact, for example, that could compete with that. Especially a game that over time has so much depth in it that you can easily spend 1,000 hours in Phantasy Star once you get into the game. They go on to say the investment could be spent on not only its internal development resources and in development games, but also on the acquisition of other companies either in Japan or abroad. And let's be real, who else is doing the same thing? Microsoft, who has been in constant conversation in Japan, going back and forth. Phil, the whole team at Xbox. Sega has one of the largest studio networks of any Japanese company. Since the acquisition of UK-based Creative Assembly known for Total War, again, another game that's actually coming into Game Pass, people that look over that I've heard you and Mav talk about, it's gone on to acquire Sports Interactive Football Manager, Relic Age of Empires 4, Atlas Persona, Amplitude, Humankind, and 2-Point Hospital. In Sega Sammy's annual report, it suggested that any future acquisitions would be considered based on how they can complement its existing developers. Want to read one more phase, and I'm going to pass it off to my brother from another. The way people interact with games is becoming more diverse, and the ecosystem is growing exponentially, it said. In this context, and y'all understand why I'm grinning for here in a minute. In this context, Sega wants to go beyond the boundaries of conventional gaming and take on the challenge of creating super games that excite the gaming community, which is a web of diverse relationships. It added, naturally, we project the scale of investment in the development with such super games will be sizable. We will need to incorporate new technologies and trends. To this end, we will have to invest from the perspective of developing the pipeline and shoring up our value chains. Goodness gracious. If that's not a mouthful in itself, essentially what I got from that, before I pass it off to my brother, is that Sega sees the play. Sega sees the Xbox, hey, we're trying to reach the 3 million gamers. We're trying to, broaden up the accessibility chain. We want to be the face of gaming. We want to be the ones that are making it as accessible as possible. Are you on board? And I feel like this partnership was Sega coming to the table and saying, hey, we've worked together so well for this long. We want to move in that same direction where we kind of feel like we've kind of came off the rocker a little bit within the last decade. We're not as relevant. We're depending on pachinko machines and everything else. Sonic, the movie, is doing well for us. Gladly, you know what I'm saying? Fortunately, I'm glad they changed the design, or they would have been in the toilet right now for sure. I'll tell you right now, I would have been dumb upset if they would have kept that design for the original Sonic that they had in mind for that movie. So Pong, with the things that I just brought out to you about Sega, about this whole entire partnership, about the bigger picture, and then everything that I gave you within this article, Does this solidify for you kind of your thoughts on it and everything? Because I know that you've kind of felt like, hey, this is the bigger picture. There is something more here. This isn't, as people say, a nothing burger. This isn't just the same thing as a Sony deal, or this isn't just looking for Azure cloud space or whatever the case might be. How are you feeling about this after this article now? And what else do you have to add to it?
Yeah, no, this article, and shout out to Chargasm who sent me the article this morning, by the way, as well. I don't know if he or she is listening right now, but he did send me that in the DMs because I had not seen it because it was early this morning. I was getting ready for the show. This whole thing here, well, let's first start. You brought up some great points, Steel, about Sonic and about where Sega is at with their IP. Sonic is still to this day one of the most iconic characters out there. And that's despite them underutilizing it. Next to Mario, Sonic is still one of the most recognizable faces of video games.
Easily. Which
is crazy. But you saw the movie explode. And it wasn't just all old guys like myself or 90s kids like you going to see the movie. It was kids, younger kids going to see it. Yeah, exactly.
Loved it.
Seeing this movie and knowing who Sonic was. Sonic is universal. It's one of the greatest mascots ever created. And I will defend that till the day I die. They did such a great job with him back then that the
attitude, everything.
Yeah. Everything, just the character model itself is so appealing. When you look at Sonic, you can't help but smile. Like how many people knew about hedgehogs before Sonic came along, right?
Exactly.
So, and now we see pictures on Instagram of hedgehogs, and the people have them as pets now, and all that kind of stuff. And I don't doubt a lot of that has its makings back with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Probably.
So it's one of those things that Sega themselves have never been the same since Dreamcast went under, and since they got out of the console business.
Right.
And Stubbs, you're right. Sega is not what they used to be. You're absolutely correct. But their name is still to this day carries weight, carries huge weight, no matter what. And Sega has an opportunity right now to jump back into this thing with both feet. They've been on the outer edges, the Sammy portion, the pachinko machines, all that kind of stuff has kind of been, where they've made their bread and butter through the years. But now with everything that's happened with pandemic, with video game industry, even though it's been growing considerably over these past decade, 2 decades, we've now seen an explosion, and now it's hit the mainstream. And we say here, it's the golden age of gaming for a reason. There are more people, more money, more resources being pumped into this industry than in any time in history. And so I think Sega, looking at the industry as a whole, but also looking at specific cases like Capcom coming back into its glory again after being down almost to the point of bankruptcy, almost making a deal with Xbox back in 2018, reportedly 2017, 2018, almost being acquired, because they were so down and out. Guess what they did? They turned to their old IPs that had been languishing. They had not had, Resident Evil is a constant. It's been around. They continue to put out Resident Evils, but they went through a stretch there with the Resident Evil 5. After 4, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6 didn't hit the way that they thought. Right. They were losing popularity versus gaining popularity. So what did Capcom do? They went back into the books and said, oh, what's one of our best ones out there? Oh, 2, right? Let's go ahead and remake that. Let's go ahead and remake it from the ground up. Let's see what we can do. They did that. Guess what? They found a winning formula. And ever since then, it has been nothing but a rocket trajectory for Capcom. They are 100%. Now back on top again. Their teams got their confidence back. They went back to the drawing board with Resident Evil, came out with Resident Evil 7, which everybody loved, and now Resident Evil Village, which may get into consideration for Game of the Year.
Right.
So I think Sega looks at examples like that and says, okay, what do we have to do? If we're going to continue to be a video game company, we have an opportunity right now to get back in this game, pun intended, and really make our mark and try to recapture what we used to have. Maybe not the console side of things, of course,
Right.
but from an IP standpoint, they still own one of the greatest catalogs of IP out there. You won't find many catalogs as full of great games as Sega has in its book, in its safe, right? In, in its vault. So I think
Ooh,
what they're
yeah, there's a
doing
list.
here, yeah, what they're doing here is they're saying, okay, let's do this. Let's go in.
Mhm.
Now, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get back into this? Yes, we've got some development teams. Yes, we're still doing great on the PC side of things
Right.
with Total War. We've done some really great partnerships. Halo Wars Halo Wars with Xbox. Obviously Age of Empires 4, we got a partnership there.
Mhm.
Oh, by the way, Microsoft and Xbox are leading the charge into the future when it comes to streaming xCloud. Oh, look, they've got Game Pass. Oh, look, they're trying to go after 2 billion, 3 billion people. We know everybody laughed when Satya and Phil said that, but guess
Right.
what? Guess what? They are proving they're being real about this, and they're starting to gain some success out of that.
Mhm.
So we got this great partnership. What are we going to do? Hey, go knock on their door. How can we work together to help us as a company, being Sega, bring back some of our old IP, because they did say IP utilization,
Right.
right? In that, how can we bring back some of that old IP and bring it forward into the future so all these new generations can experience it as well?
Mhm.
How can we bring our infrastructure, our tech up to speed? Well, we're not going to be able to invest something like Microsoft did or Amazon did into our own servers. So let's go buddy up with our partners that we've been doing this for decades with, and let's go have them help us get there.
Right.
Well, they're going to want something in return, right? Still, they're not,
Yeah.
Microsoft isn't cash strapped. So it's not always about the bag.
Right.
Yeah, that's nice. But what can we offer them in return? That's right. We got all this great IP. Yes, we got to, let's do this. So I think that article today suggested that Sega is trying to get back to its glory days, and they're serious about it, because
Right.
we look at $1 billion and say, well, Microsoft spent, Xbox spent $7 billion, $8 billion dollars on
It's not light
ZeniMax.
money.
Yeah, but it's not light money to a
Right.
company like Sega. It's definitely not light money. So if this is going to be acquisitions where they go pick up some smaller teams, and again, Atlas being one of their best acquisitions of all time, if they're going to make smart decisions with it, and then they're going to go ahead and invest money into creating the super game initiative,
Mhm.
in which they are going to look, let's not mince words here. They're going to look to make games that can reach out to everybody. So on top of having this old IP that, yes, I believe they need to bring forward, Sonic should have a proper game. I haven't played Ultimate Colors yet. I want
haven't
to
either.
because it looks
Not yet.
fun. But let's be real. That's the Nintendo style. It's the old style of games. Let's bring Sonic current, or let's figure out how we can do that, and maybe give him, like Everborn likes to say, a AAA experience.
Yeah, he needs it.
Let's figure that out as well, because if we can do that right, that's going to explode, because again, Sonic is so popular that if we can get it right, it's going to work. But let's also look at creating some new experiences for people.
Mhm.
Let's talk to Xbox and Microsoft about this cloud stuff. Again, this goes back to Phil's push for, and other people within Microsoft and Xbox both saying that they're working on this cloud development environment. Let's see how we can utilize that tech that Microsoft is advancing so quickly to go ahead and bring our games to more people. Whether people are on their phone, whether people are on TV, whether people are on a console, it doesn't matter. PC, it doesn't matter
Right.
anymore. So let's try to bring those experiences to everybody. So I think that this shows that commitment by saying, hey, they're going to try to invest, if this report is right, almost $1 billion
Mhm.
into this initiative. They're not playing around. That's a big investment for Sega. That's a big, big one. And I think that they're reaching back to get that glory. And I think that, again, as I've sat on this, as I've spoken about it all week, as more and more articles have come out, Jez from Windows Central, Jez Gordon, of course, great member of the community, he did an article the other day on Windows Central, which he reached out as a journalist. Again, people do sometimes forget Jez is a journalist.
Yes.
That's his profession. He gets paid to do this stuff. He reached out as a journalist to people on the inside to get their overall impressions of kind of what this alliance was and what it was meaning. And his article basically mirrored all of our conversations that we've had this week for those of us that have been in the camp that, hey, this is a bigger deal. Yes, it's still a wait and see. Jez pointed out that this is not a sprint move. This is a marathon move.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is for Sega and for Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, Jez came out and said, no, this means a lot. This is a bigger deal. There's going to be, with this alliance, things that do actually benefit Xbox as much as it benefits Sega. It's not a Sony deal. And again, we haven't heard anything of the Sony deal other than its announcement. We don't even know if that deal's still on. Sony, we haven't heard Sony take advantage of that in any way, shape, or form. Microsoft did because they got some tech out of it. But at the end of the day, for Sega, this is going to be a you scratch my back, I'm going to scratch your back situation. And we are going to see things. And then, funny enough, like you brought up, Steel, a couple days later, we get an announcement of Total War Warhammer 3 coming to Game Pass PC day 1.
Yeah.
And Total War does not need Game Pass. Okay. Total War is one of the biggest games, RTSs in the entire world for PC. They don't need a Game Pass deal. Sure, the money, I'm sure, was passed. I get that. But at the end of the day, this is not one of those games that you announce this far in advance as well, which Jez pointed out on Xbox 2 yesterday. Shout out to Rand and Jez. But he pointed that out. This was announced way ahead of the actual release of Total War. So why do you do that? Because you're cutting yourself out of, pre-order sales. So why would you do that, right? Why would you do that when you've got this IP that doesn't need it? Well, because, that deal, that little alliance kind of meant something, right? And that's just like the first little glimpse at what we could see down the road. IP utilization is the biggest thing I took away from the initial release, the press release, stating that their IP utilization means that they are going to look at bringing back some of their catalog, the IPs that they do own, to give them new life again and to try to get back to making consistently good video games, but making use of what they do have that could be an advantage. Again, Skies of Arcadia, Steel, had it been done right, had they continued forward with Skies of Arcadia, could be one of the biggest RPGs going right now. It really could. It had the story, it had the characters, it had the style, it had a unique flash to it with the airships and that kind of stuff, right? It had something special. That's why people still love it. Shout out to Hertog. That's why people still believe Skies of Arcadia is worthy of bringing back nowadays. They had Shining Force, which goes way back. Shining in the Darkness, the original game. I played for so many hours on Genesis. Shining Force was one of the best turn-based games out there going at the time, and they let it die. Yes, we have Shining series, right, but we don't have Shining Force. Shining Force has been sitting there just waiting to be brought up to date as an RPG. RPGs have never been bigger. JRPGs has never been bigger. Anime has never been bigger. Shining Force has a place if you do it right. They've got all this stuff, and then on top of it, people that they've worked with in the past now all of a sudden are underneath the Xbox umbrella. Obsidian is sitting there. They are chomping at the bit. They have been. They put out a tweet in 2017 that I retweeted, that they would love to get back to Alpha Protocol. Alpha Protocol could have been the next big Western RPG. We have not had a really spy setting style RPG in the mold of kind of current day spy stuff. Yes, Deus Ex in a way is cyberpunk stuff, is kind of in that vein. But at the end of the day, Alpha Protocol was going for something different. Obsidian just wasn't given the resources or the time to make their vision come to pass. And it was one of their games that they've wanted to make forever. So I know they'd love to get back to that. So again, Xbox comes knocking and says, hey, you're not doing anything with Alpha Protocol. Obsidian would like to get back on that. What do you think about us using the IP again.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that can happen down the road. So again, this deal is going to wind up being bigger than people think. We're going to look back on this deal by the end of this generation and go, oh yeah, okay, of course, this was going to happen. I'm not saying acquisition.
Right.
I still said it never made sense to me that they would be acquired. They don't need to be acquired with these kind of alliances. But this is going to push Xbox into the Eastern market even more so. They're getting their foothold in different ways because they can't simply put out a console and grab a piece of the share over there like they would love to be able to do, because they have been behind for so long. They've tried many times. They're doing better this gen, but they're going to try to grab the foothold over there in other ways. And how they're going to do that is to use the advantages that they have. And one of them being the biggest advantage they have is the technology, because other companies are going to see the future resides in streaming and cloud and all that kind of stuff, and accessibility to the 2 billion, 3 billion people. And Xbox is leading the way, and they have a working model for themselves that proves that it can be done. So you're going to see these, especially the Eastern devs that are behind or don't have the resources, like a Bandai Namco. We've seen that cozy relationship getting cozier. We're going to see these Eastern devs reach out to people to help them move into the future. Well, guess who's going to be your leader? It's going to be Xbox. So we could see more of these alliance type deals, not necessarily having to be acquisitions, but these alliance type deals where people come to Xbox and say, hey, we want to get on the train. We want to figure out how you guys are doing this. Can you help us get up to speed? And Xbox is going to be smiling. Phil's going to be sitting back. Microsoft, Sarah Bond, going to be sitting back, smiling the whole time, going, yeah, we'll help you out. No problem. Popularity with the East more so than anything else they could do. And when you do that, more and more people are going to show up at your doorstep. More and more people are going to want to make deals with you. Less and less of those Eastern games that have been skipping Xbox will skip Xbox. And I think that this is the step that they're going to take. This is the chess game they're going to play to make this happen.
Right.
And I think this is the greatest thing they could have done. And partnering with Sega, still one of the biggest names over on that side of the world, is going to build that confidence level with all these other companies. And my God, Steel, this better open up the Atlas catalog. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. If this doesn't open up the Atlas catalog, if we don't get Persona, we never will.
Period. I definitely feel you as someone who's played Persona here recently, at least Persona 5 Strikers. That's probably the deepest I would ever go with those kind of style of games, just because I've definitely come away from turn-based kind of games anyway. But I can see it being definitely an attractor. I definitely hope that we start getting some more of those games in again, like you touched on. Just the fact that a lot of those Eastern games are getting more attention than they've ever had. Anime is getting more attention than it's ever had. Again, another one that I believe when I looked it up earlier, I think Demon Slayer is also under the Sega for them also. So that's something else that's actually working in their advantage. So it looks like they got multiple different things on their end that's kind of speaking very well for them. And again, I think this alliance, it just adds on to that. Being a partnership for more of the future. No, they don't have to be bought. They don't have to be acquired again, but who's to say that they won't be? At the same time, what else is Sega doing? You know what I mean? But again, it could be just the same thing with the whole ZeniMax thing. If it makes sense over time for it to kind of happen, then cool. Because at the same time, Sega could just run itself. Sega doesn't need Microsoft to run, which is something else that Microsoft is looking for. So that's why I know people like get up in arms about this whole acquisition talk, but you have to think about what makes sense in our industry right now. And for Xbox wanting to get a hold in Japan, wanting to have a real foothold, Sega having probably the biggest foothold in that area, already having probably one of the biggest offices in that area, it only makes sense that these kind of go hand in hand with one another and eventually lead into something more. Will it? Not completely sure. And that's fine. It doesn't have to. But the fact that Sega is now saying, hey, we see the vision, we want to be more, gets me excited because maybe, again, we can get that AAA Sonic game. Maybe we could get that mascot that Xbox was looking for that is child-friendly, kid-friendly. Again, I use that reference of me being a 90s kid. There's a reason why Sonic had more of an effect on me than Mario did. Sonic still has that today. The new movie grabbed my kids in ways that I wasn't expecting for it to. That shows the power. They're not making a second one because the first one failed. They're making another one because the first movie was successful. So they still have the IP that needs to be taken advantage of. So that's kind of my thing about it as a Sega fan, just overall. Again, I've been a Sega gamer since the Game Gear. So my father put me on that. So it's kind of like I grew up with the Genesis and everything. I definitely want to see Sega kind of come back into their final form or possibly just become more of a household name than like they used to be. Again, maybe this needs to happen so Sega could give Nintendo some kind of something. I mean, it's the only other thing. Again, when you look at the IP list, it's the only other thing that can compete with them equally in some form factor. Not saying game for game because everybody's going to have preferences, but it's the only thing that makes sense. And that's my biggest thing about it. So, and I hate when, I hate when people get into this thing to where you just can't be excited for something. Don't let people tell you what you can or cannot be excited for. There's a reason why these things are happening. These are amazing conversations to have. This is the reason why people like y'all are listening to podcasts like ours and getting the passion, getting the energy, getting the authenticity, because this is how we legitimately feel. And as fans, we should be able to sit down, have conversation. Hopefully the bigger people upstairs are listening to us because we want things to move in I'm not going to say the right direction because we don't know what the right direction is right now, but in a direction that's going to help the overall community grow. And that's what I think this is doing. So
agreed, Steel.
I guess the next thing we can jump into, other than COD being unheard of, we touched on Forza 5. Let me bring that some of that stuff back. I need all that back. All right, let's talk about let's get into a little bit of some Elden Ring talk, man.
Yeah, I was just trying to get you the trailer. I didn't know if you had it up or not, but
I don't have it up quite yet, and I actually can't. I can't pull it up. Give me a moment here. I know the bit rate for us was dropping down. I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, hopefully. we lost a bunch of people, and they're coming back. So yeah. I don't know. I think it was a YouTube thing. So
yeah, hopefully that gets cleared up. Yeah. I'm actually going to bring up the one from IGN. Excuse me for the music.
I just sent you the YouTube if you need it quicker. So I got the actual YouTube one.
Perfect.
The actual official Elden Ring one.
Perfect. I believe I got a good one too. Yeah. So, Elden Ring, man, this is one of those games that actually I was actually quite surprised to hear that you were as interested as you were. As somebody that's not typically a Dark Souls-ish fan, right? I'm excited for Elden Ring for many different reasons. I've been playing Dark Souls since the first one. My brother kind of pretty much got me into the series, and I've kind of been in love with it ever since. I haven't touched every From Software game just because I don't know. I just haven't. I have Sekiro. I haven't had a chance to jump into it. I always hear people say, "Oh, it's the most amazing From Software game that's kind of been put out." And I just haven't had a chance to get to it. There's so many other games out there and so many other games that I get to put my hands on that I take seriously that it's just, you forget, man. There's only so much time in a day. But Elden Ring gets me excited because it's doing everything that every other From Software game has done and kind of meshed them together. And that's what gets me excited. Not only the co-op side of it, but also on the single player side of it. The map, the idea of the map being map fragments that you have to get is dope. Because I know there was that factor of, oh, you're trying to make it easier for the new players. And it's like, you still got to gather these pieces. So it's like, there's still some caveats to it. And once you get the map, I mean, that's cool. One of the main things that sold me on this recent trailer, hopefully y'all can see it in the background, was the dragon. I have this huge affinity for dragons. But I just have these things for mythical creatures just overall, especially when they're done really well, like in this game. Like if you guys can see this gameplay, for those for audio listeners who can't see it, this reminds me of kind of what they did with Demon Souls and bringing that dragon back to to life in this day and era. Again, I haven't played Demon Souls. Not in a rush to play it either. It's one of those things. It's like, if you play the From Software game, you know how From Software games play. Yes, they have different stories depending on which one you play, and they do play differently from each other in some manners, but they all are pretty much the same thing in some way, shape, or form. But the difficulty of the game is what always attracts me. The variety of monsters in the game, the depth of the game, the lore within the game, the way that it doesn't always takes itself so seriously, because you're worried about getting your ass whooped all the time, but then you get into these little story parts when he, like in this portion right here, when he hits the pot out of the ground and he's like, oh yeah, I felt like you're almost gonna break me there. It's just little things like that kind of loosen it up for you at the same time, but make you question what is really going on with this in this world, man. But it forces you to get pulled deeper into what's going on. The biggest thing for me is I always like the over-the-top weapons, the great swords, all that stuff. All the melee combat feels as genuine and as quote-unquote realistic to me as it possibly could. Again, for it to be the style of game. Pong, you sounded really excited about it, man. You were like, man, I'm kind of hyped for that Elden Ring, man. How are you feeling about it? What's gotten you hyped for it? And what's kind of giving you this, I'm really interested to try this game out to see what's going on.
Well, still, as I've always admitted, that Souls games, I'm not going to get good. Okay. I'm just not. I'm not going to put myself through it. Again, I played Demon Souls back in the day on PS3. Right. That was my first experience with a Souls game. I tried many times to get into Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put myself through the pain. I can't. I'm just not at that stage in my life anymore. I put myself through pain through grade school, playing original Ninja Gaiden, all that kind of stuff. I went through enough pain as a kid. I don't know. Maybe I have PTSD. I just. But here's the deal. From Software creates some of the most aesthetically pleasing games to me. Their art style, I absolutely adore. Okay. I absolutely think it's the coolest. It's got that dark, dark, creepy look to it that really gives off a certain vibe. Their characters and their monster designs are off the charts for me. This is like the perfect dark fantasy world. They always create that look and that feel. Right. I absolutely love it, no matter which game it is. Right? They always have a flair, and I absolutely have always wanted to be able to get into these games. But just again, I just can't put myself through it. And I know people say, hey, you gotta play co-op, you gotta do this.
Yeah.
Look, if I can't do it lone wolf, like if I can't at least do most of it lone wolf, I'm not looking at doing a full co-op game in this style. I want to experience this world for myself. Right. But when I saw Elden Ring, right, first of all, again, just talking to my soul when it comes to the style, everything about it. I've read up on it enough. I've watched the videos, with the different character classes that they are introducing. With the different styles of play that they are stating that you're going to be able to do.
Yeah.
I was already on the fence with it. And I told you that in the background. I said, Steel, I might need you to co-op this with me, but I kind of am on the fence with Elden Ring. Right. But when I saw this, when they put this trailer up and I was watching the gameplay and the player, I guess what really spoke to me, Steel, is that whoever was doing this demo wasn't doing what I've seen from the hardcore Souls people do, which is really be careful
No, he was getting smacked around quite a bit.
Yeah, whoever this person was charging in, right? And like that's because that's how I can learn to block, I can learn to parry,
Right.
I can learn, I can learn to, obviously roll and all that kind of stuff. I can learn to do that. But at some time during my gameplay, I'm not going to be able to have that patience, and
Right.
I'm going to charge in, right? And I'm just going to go full bore. And this person that was playing was doing the same thing. And yes, he was getting smacked around, but he wasn't dying like in a Souls game right away.
Mhm.
Right. So for me, it looks like, and again, I won't know, and I could be totally off base here, but it looks like they're giving people a little bit more freedom, that it isn't going to be 2 hits and down. It's not going to be that punishing anymore. Like previous games. I could be completely wrong.
I definitely feel like he might have had some form of God mode on. Because there was just there was some the way that it was cut on some of the fights.
Yeah,
you can tell it was multiple edits, and he might have died several times.
Right.
On some of those fights, and that's why it was chopped up like that. Because typically the monsters and bosses they hit like trucks, and
right.
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully it is tailored maybe more towards what you're speaking to. In some form
maybe
of
it's just a little bit more accessible. I'm not talking about you're never going to have to block, or you're never going to have to parry, and you can just go gung-ho in their Conan style and think that you're going to live. Like, that's not even what I'm looking for. Like I said, I can be patient at times, I can learn how to do that stuff, but I just got to have the ability to go rush every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, this game definitely showed off more of that. And like I said, the classes now with the spells that they're using, be able to call in undead spirits to help out, that kind of stuff. Yo,
that's you. That's you.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. If I can have my own army running with me, if I can just call them out of the ground, and then I can sit back and hit them with some spells or hit them with a bow.
You can.
I like that. I like that. Now you're really talking. But yeah, no, all of this, just the different environments that they showed off in this as well. Look at this part that I'm seeing here, where they're sneaking through the forest and all that kind of stuff behind the big guys. The world itself, already I'm all in. And so after seeing this gameplay and after kind of getting some of my thoughts on it, I was like, all right, I think I'm 95% in here. I think I'm going to jump into this game. And yes, at the end of the day, if I make the commitment, and part of my budget goes to Elden Ring next year, and I have a hard time, guess what? I'm going to call on Steel anyway, because I want to play with him.
I'll be here.
But I'll definitely be co-oping and having somebody help me walk through. But I just, again, From Software is one of those developers that just really leans into what they do best, and they really perfected their art style.
They did that.
Look at that. I mean, the magic spell, dude, the magic spell is calling down that lightning. Oh my, the dragon head out of the helper.
That was dope. Yeah.
Yo, that is everything I look for in a fantasy game. I definitely understand that this is not going to be a Skyrim per se, but with the more open world, with the less linear action, allowing me to go discover things, because that's one of my favorite things about Skyrim is that sense of discovery when you're exploring.
This does
this does that. They talked about being able to find dungeons and caves and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm about in these style of games. When I think of a fantasy world, like you said, you love dragons, so do I. I love dragons, and dragons in this just look so impressive. But that idea of being able to have this world, and even if you don't have the full map, just going off in a direction and finding what you can find, and being surprised and surprised by what you actually do wind up discovering. That's what I love about this, and I think that this one is trying to do that. So yeah, I'm 95% of the way in. I think this is on my list for next year. This is going to be in my budget to pick up. Obviously not going to pick up the collector's edition or anything like that, but I think I'll be there day one, because I think this will be the game that I'm not going to go back and play all the Souls games. I'm not going to go back and try Bloodborne again, but I think this is the game that actually allows me to play a From Software game. And I think I'm going to put the time and effort into it, even if it's not my first impressions from just watching a video, even if it is not what I think it is. I think I'll put the time in to at least learn it, as long as it's not as punishing as the other ones. At least it gives me a little bit of a break. I'll be cool with it. If I can be a more magic user heavy style class and get away with it, then I'll be happy. So I think that's where I'm at with this one.
Yeah,
really good stuff.
Really good Dark Souls has always done that pretty well, where if you want to play a certain way, you can. It may be in certain circumstances a little bit more punishing. Because you have to level your character up. So, and it's like you have to get those skills to get good, to be good, and you have to get skills. You have to have enough power to have those skills be efficient and everything. So, like, there's that. But as far as being like, if you want to be a mage, it'll let you be a mage. You can do whatever you want. Now, as far as like summoning people, this is the first time I've seen stuff like that. Sure, you've always been able to summon players or whatever the case might be. Like 4-player co-op, at least 3-player co-op, I know for sure. There's always been a thing where you can summon at least 2 to 3 other of your people to come help you with a fight or whatever the case might be, or random AIs in the game or whatever the case. You can summon them. This one, I don't know. Typically how it ends up working is that you have to get to a certain point before it allows you to start doing co-op, because they give you these things called white soapstones. You have to put that down. You put your sign down or whatever the case might be. You have a special code, make sure nobody else gets in your room or whatever. So hopefully it's a little bit more intuitive than that. Like maybe it can be just a drop in, drop out kind of thing. I know the other thing that these games typically always do also is that if you've beaten a boss in an area, then somebody can't join on you. You kind of have to, like, for an example, if I beat the boss in the area, you wouldn't be able to come to my world. I'd have to come to your world, help you beat that boss, and then kind of go back and forth. It also, it's an amazing thing because you kind of like get the double levels up. That's why it's always a good thing to play with people, especially if you have a good like squad of people, 3 to 4 people you're playing with, because then you can go through everybody's world. You're fighting the boss 4 different times, getting 4 times the amount of souls. Everybody's getting leveled up, and everything is so equal. That really literally turns the experience into something completely different. So I definitely do think that you would have a good time playing co-op because it would give you that experience at least till a point where you felt comfortable. Because that's the other thing too. So along with them, they're actually giving us a jump button. I don't have to run and jump. I can just jump on stuff. It just seems more vertical, seems more versatile. Oh yeah. They're doing so many more things again to make it more accessible. And I think it's gonna really hit from software this time around for sure. Again, I'm excited for it. Excited to see more from it. I believe, was it they had a closed beta or something that was coming out that they were getting people to try. So if you're interested in that, definitely look at the signups for that. For me right now, between Forza and Halo next month, I don't know where it's going to fit in at, but and then Battlefield. So it's like I don't know where it's going to fit in at, but that's kind of how I'm feeling about it, man. Is there anything else that you want to throw on there?
No, man. I'm just watching the video and it just looks so amazing. Again, it's like it's so unique from the standpoint that we get a lot of medieval RPGs. Right? We get a lot of that Western RPG. This has a whole different flavor to it when you watch it. Right? It's so dark. It's just such a different style. That's what really draws me in. I want to love this game. I want to love this game. I want to play it. I can't wait again till it's February, right? February?
Yeah, February. February.
Yeah, February. Yeah, I can't wait. And it's good from, I'll just say this too. I was kind of surprised that we got this much gameplay for all the stuff that we were hearing and how it was having trouble developing and that kind of stuff.
16 minutes of gameplay isn't short.
And they were behind and they showed off so much different stuff that I was really impressed. I was like, wow, they really got it together. They must be really confident at this point in what they've got. Not that they weren't going to be, but we did hear they were having some troubles. And From is one of those devs that really delays are normal for From Software. They really, they don't show off a lot until they're ready. So when they came out with this 16 minutes, I was like, dang, they really are confident with where they're at right now. And that new date that they gave us sounds like they're going to hit it. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, man, just all the different environments they showed, all the different styles they showed really spoke to me on this one. I want to love this, Steel. So I'm going to have you help me love it, I think. But
We'll see.
I think I'm there. I'm there with this one, so I'm hyped.
Yeah,
Can't
for
wait.
sure. I'm definitely excited for it myself. Hey, let us know if you're excited for it in chat, man. We definitely want to know if people are interested in it. That's going to be the main thing. Again, I'm probably going to end up definitely, if you're planning to jump on it too, I'm probably going to end up getting it on Xbox. Then in that case, just to have that accessibility option, because I'm not quite sure if they're going to have crossplay. I know that's always been kind of a thing for Dark Souls. They haven't had that in the past. You kind of stuck on whatever you're stuck on. Cheating is a big thing for these Souls-like games on PC. So there's also a lot of cheating on console too, so don't get it twisted. There's just a lot more happening on PC as far as Souls games goes. So that's the main thing that can be a turn off, because again, the other thing that's an amazing about this game is that you can randomly have your world invaded at any time if you're playing online. So it adds an element of that I've always enjoyed to the game, because it's kind of one of those things you see it pop up, you hear the noise, you're like, oh man, here we go. I gotta deal with some fucking annoying ass motherfucker who wants to chase me around the map and shit.
Only Steel in the middle of a quest, somebody invades your dang game. That's the last thing I freaking want to deal with.
Yeah, anyways, it happens. It adds some excitement to it. Again, I know people like get hype over Deathloop, and it's like, I've been experiencing people doing this type of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you could do it. You could do it on Demon's Souls on PS3. I mean, that was the first time it was really implemented. That's what really set it apart. People were like, "Wow, what? You can invade other people's games?" I remember the first time it happened to me. I was like, "Yo, wait, hold up. Why are you in my game?
Right.
Why are you attacking me right now?
Right. Yeah.
The last thing I need. Yeah.
It's funny, and it becomes a fun time after a while if you're into that. Again, I understand a lot of people who aren't. So, what other than that, let's see what else we can get into, man. There was another piece of info drop that ended up coming out. They ended up releasing some more information about the Halo Infinite Season Pass and what they're dropping within there. I just wanted to touch on it a little bit. See, and then after that, we can touch on anything else that might come to mind. But the Halo Infinite Season Pass is coming out with some interesting things, man. At least to me personally, it was interesting just because, and I'm actually going to pull this up on screen too. I thought it was interesting because it was kind of gave me a call back to old school Halo, you know, the flaming heads and everything, where you beat things on certain difficulties or whatever the case might be, or in firefight or whatever, where you get those extra cosmetics. But now they're also implementing not only on the head, but they're also doing the shoulder pads, the forearms. They got the visor that can come out. They got a lot of different things on here that looks really dope. Again, just little things that add on. Halo is one of those games that can do this and get away with it. I'm interested in what the customization that they're bringing. The Battle Pass definitely has me intrigued. I want to get all this stuff personally. That just shows you how easy it is to entice people to invest themselves into a Battle Pass system of some sort, to work towards some kind of progression or whatever the case might be. So, again, with them doing this thing with the Battle Pass to where you can come into it at any point. You're not worrying about completing it within a certain amount of time. You're always going to be welcome to go back to it. You're never in a rush. I think that's going to be the most exciting thing about seeing these images also. So how are you feeling about it, man? I'm seeing these things. Is it kind of corner to you? Is it kind of right up that avenue, kind of fit in with that game, with that Battle Pass mantra? What are you feeling?
Look, they're going to do what they have to do when it comes to Halo, with it being free to play multiplayer, to incentivize people to get that money. Okay. And what are you going to do? You got to do cosmetics nowadays. Whether you like it or not really is irrelevant at this point, because of the simple fact that we all know the stats are all out there, that people can talk about as much as they want to. Heard plenty of Call of Duty talk over the years about all the crazy stuff they implement in there when it comes to cosmetics. But at the end of the day, people buy it. Okay. Look, I ain't gonna lie. Steel, Call of Duty, hadn't bought one in forever. Finally picked up Cold War. Went in there, was playing, was having a good time, got my money's worth. But guess what else I did? I did buy cosmetics. I bought my anime gun skin. I bought, I didn't go overboard. However, they still got me. You know, they got me on they got me on a battle pass, and they got me on some cosmetics. I wound up spending an extra $60 on top of what I normally would have spent, right? For a game. So this stuff does work. And with a completely free to play multiplayer with a 10-year plan that Halo does, of course, they are going to get people to do this. Look, some of these are really cool. Some of them are corny, but that's what you always wind up with, right?
Yeah.
Some of them, that's what you wind up with. When they do this stuff, they're not, again, they're going to create as much as possible that appeal to anybody. So they're going to be there's people that literally go buy the corniest cosmetics because everybody else thinks they're corny. Okay. There's literally people that do that. It's like a troll in game that they know people hate to see other people running around with it. So they go get it to be one of those people. Right. So they're going to do that stuff. For me, this is just all par for the course. I expected nothing less out of 343. This is what they have to do. Again, I want Halo Infinite to be successful. I want it to make the most money ever in the history because it's going to mean that other things come from that, like a Halo Wars 3. Now with this alliance, right? Creative Assembly can come back and help create Halo Wars 3 if Halo Infinite is as big as possible. We might get an ODST 2. That would be absolutely mind-blowing for me. So yes, I want Halo to expand as much as possible, and this is just part of it. They got to go make their money. So good on them. I think overall, from what I was seeing, people were happy with it. So people were excited. They're going to give benefits to Game Pass Ultimate subscribers, which is going to be a big deal. It's going to push Game Pass Ultimate as well. So those of us with the Ultimate are going to be able to have some bonuses, and that's going to push people there as well. So I think this is a really good thing. Let them do it as long as they get creative, and it looks like from everything I'm seeing, they are being very creative. The flaming helmet stuff, all that kind of stuff is awesome. The shoulder stuff is cool. The wings remind me of Diablo 3. So that kind of stuff. But, hey, more power to them. They got to do this. It's going to be a great experience. We are hearing as well. It kind of leaked this week as well, Steel. I don't know if you saw it, but somebody found on the store that there is going to be an early access option for Halo as well. Some people are upset. Again, some people don't like the early access thing. To me, it's no big deal at all. It's an option. It's an option. You don't have to get over your FOMO. And just don't buy it and just wait. It's not that big a deal.
It's not worth being upset over. It's not.
Halo ain't disappearing by the time you get on it.
If you're worried,
that's not what's gonna.
If you're worried about spoilers and don't pay attention to it, there's how many movies come out, and I tell you, I don't see spoilers half the time. Once I see somebody start talking about it, I scroll past it. If I don't want to see it, I'm not going to see it.
Right. Exactly.
Now I understand the perspective of well, everybody's gonna be posting about it. You don't have to see it.
Yeah, you don't have to see it. Block it. Mute the words Halo. That's all you got to do for a while. And usually it's generally not that big a deal. Usually it's a week, in advance. It's not that big a deal. It's still going to be there, but that's just me. Again, I know people have their feelings about this. I just don't care about it at all. We also heard, Steel, I don't know. Did you listen to the Xbox 2 yesterday?
I was able to listen to the first fourth of it. I wasn't able to listen.
Did you hear when they talked about Halo at all?
No.
Okay. So let me give you the rundown, and I'll get your quick thoughts on this because I think it was interesting. Shout out to Jez and Rand again over at the Xbox 2. Again, the podcast.
Yeah, lovely. I love them guys. Boy.
One of the reasons we do this. Just fantastic. But anyways, they started talking about Halo Infinite. They started talking about the early access.
Right.
And Jez had brought up earlier in the show that one of his sources, one of his most trusted sources, somebody who has zero reason to make up anything, said that we are definitely going to want to watch the anniversary show. Definitely going to.
I did hear that. I do remember hearing that. Okay. Go ahead.
So later on in the show, they were talking about the early access of Halo Infinite, that kind of stuff. Rand brought up the point, or he brought up the thought, and Jez was laughing through his talk, which is always a sign. Yeah, it's always a sign to me that Jez knows more than he's letting on. But at the same time, it could be nothing. But Rand brought up the thought, the question: what if on the anniversary, during the anniversary show, they say, hey, guess what? Happy 20th anniversary. And we're happy to announce that anybody who has Game Pass can jump into the multiplayer today. And just open up the multiplayer a month ahead of the full launch. Would you be adverse to that, Steel?
Would I be adverse to it? No, you can't. I want you to understand like the amount of butterflies I felt when you said that.
And Rand was being he's like, I don't know it. He's going, I'm just throwing this out here. You're just throwing it out there. So
look, man, as someone who is excited for the Halo multiplayer, that would give me a chance to dive into it, because once campaign comes out, that's all I'm going to play until I beat it.
I'm sorry, Steel. Shout out to Vic the Click. He goes, if a pink Spartan teabag,
oh yeah, that's what I was laughing about.
I'm
earlier.
deleting the game and installing Call of Duty.
that's what I laughed about earlier, because he wrote that earlier, and he was like, yo, I can't. No, Robert Hart said, can't wait to be teabagged by a pink unicorn Spartan.
Shout out to you too, Robert. That's exactly what I'm talking about. There are people who will purposely get that garbage just to piss off other people. All right, so that's why they create it. So anyway, continue Steel.
That would be fucking hilarious. But
yeah.
I wouldn't be adverse to it, just because I am excited to it now. If you want to follow the conversation of releasing a complete game, I could kind of understand that perspective. But in a selfish way, these are the avenues that I get selfish at.
Yeah,
I would love that. You know how hard that would hit the community, how hard that would hit the world if Xbox just came out, reunion. Oh, multiplayer is good to go. It's rocking. It's like, okay, but at the same time, there's also this weird gray area, because they're still supporting MCC as avidly as they are, which is really weird to me, because they just released a new season. And if you put all your attention on Halo Infinite, or draw the attention towards Halo Infinite, then what did you just release all that for MCC for? It's kind of one of those things to where it kind of makes it feel pointless, because they just released a bunch of customizable options and a bunch of new content in MCC, and then to release Halo multiplayer shortly afterwards. I mean, again, I think it would be an amazing thing. Do I think they're going to do it? I'm not expecting it. I'll put it that way. But if they do end up phrasing it as, hey, this is going to be the beta, it's going to be out until the game releases, I could see them doing that, just to make sure. Again,
would you think the beta would be on a limited basis, or would they open up every? You think?
No. I don't know. Okay, I see what you're saying. My fault. Yeah. I answered before. My fault. No, I don't think it's going to be limited. I think it's going to be fully open. Okay. Reason being is that could be the perfect excuse to stress test the server before the game comes out. Perfect excuse. You don't need another reason. Hey, Halo Infinite multiplayer is out. Play it. It's in beta until release. It'll be in beta until release. Be a smart thing to do. You get a lot of traction coming in, a lot of people subbing in. Again, it is free to play. Could get people enticed enough to be like, damn, man, this Halo feels really good. I want to play that campaign. Yeah. Again, that's the feeling that the multiplayer gave me. I'm super excited about that campaign. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things to where I don't think it'll be a bad move. Do I think that's going to happen? Not necessarily. Do I feel like there's something else possibly going to happen? Maybe. Though I'm not quite sure what that could be at this moment, at least, as far as them doing that. The only other thing that could possibly hit people upside the head too is if they drop Halo 5 in the MCC.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that could be the only other thing, because Halo 5 is also not on PC. Right. So that could be another big announcement also. But again, that just goes right back to that gray area. What's the point? Because I personally feel like Halo Infinite plays better than any Halo that's in MCC right now. And I'm kind of beyond my nostalgia at this point.
Well, I've heard plenty of people, Matt, shout out to Mav Caitlin. I mean, obviously hardcore Halo players too. 3-bit even said going back to MCC after playing Infinite
It's daunting.
near impossible.
Mhm.
It's impossible at this point. The movement, everything about the game is just now feels old after you're playing Halo Infinite, the flighting. So I could see how that would be. I'm
Mhm.
sure MCC has seen a little bit of drop off. I'm sure they saw some people come in again, and they're obviously
Mhm.
pumping it up, like you said, with the new season and all that kind of stuff,
Right.
and offerings. But at the end of the day, that's going to be the biggest probably victim of Halo Infinite is going to be MCC,
Yeah.
because it just you can't compare the two after playing the flighting. It's on another level. Here's what I'll say is that what was I going to say? Okay, as far as early access goes,
Mhm.
I think after the success, I saw somebody this morning. Who was it? Somebody this morning said that Forza Horizon 5 already sold over 1 million
Yep.
copies.
I did see that. Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's not
Sorry, I
out
can't give
yet.
credit where credit due, but I saw that this morning.
I know what
Look,
you're talking about.
look, here's the deal for the people that have a problem with early access. I know some people were speculating on this, and there was other people saying, nah, it's going to be a case by case basis. After the success of Forza Horizon, and if they do something with Halo Infinite, where it's early access,
Mhm.
um, and we all know, look, Forza Horizon's one thing, and we saw the FOMO. I saw the FOMO take off. Like when people started posting, there was
Yep.
literally people going, I was not going to do this. And premium pass purchased, right?
Yep.
Premium pass purchased. Premium. I think I think from a business standpoint, and I know the people that hate early access and hate this kind of stuff and are going to try to clamor that this goes against what Microsoft was saying day and date, all this kind of stuff. Buckle up, because I think this is going to be a smart business move that they offer these types of package deals when appropriate, for the games to say, hey, yeah, it's coming in Game Pass on this day. But if you are willing to pre-order, if you're willing to pay full price, or if you're willing to buy the upgrade package deal at a discount, we're going to allow you
Yeah.
to start playing the game early. And I think this is going to be a smart business move.
I don't. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
That's what's crazy to me is people are so up in arms about it. What is wrong with that?
Yeah.
You couldn't, like you said earlier, control your own fucking FOMO.
Right. Right.
Like that has nothing to do with the company at that point. They're still releasing the game on Game Pass, but guess what? If you want to play it a week early, pay the 40 at 50 extra dollars. Even if it was only $50, you're paying it for the rest of the content.
Correct.
That's the other thing. Like, that's what was getting me so salty about this whole thing with Forza. It's just like, oh, they're making it exclusive and they're doing all these other things. Oh, you're buying 2 season passes. Well, you're buying a season pass with two different forms of content. The card pass, that if you buy them all separately, it ends up almost being $70 by themselves. The card pack, after a while, once the game releases, is like $15 by itself. Each DLC pack that comes out is $25, $30 by itself.
Yep.
You get all of that for $44 in Game Pass with being a subscriber. What's wrong with that?
Right.
You already got the game for free. So
you and I are in alignment here still. I mean, again, you're preaching to the choir, and from our standpoint, I've tried to put myself in other people's shoes.
Nah, I don't.
And I think that it's, again, I think it's a complaint without any merit. I really do. A release date is a release date.
Yeah.
And for the people that are claiming, well, this is not day and date, look, again, it's just a bonus. It's just the release date still is happening on the
November
date that
9th.
the full worldwide release is.
In November, the release date. Yeah.
It's still happening no matter what. To go worldwide, all they're doing is giving you the option to be able to play a week early and it's not, they're just selling early access by itself. Like you said, Steel, it's a package deal. It's just everything. An added extra bonus. Right. It's just an added extra bonus. But I think still, I brought up this question previously on one of our early shows, and I brought it up elsewhere too, as well, as when I was sitting back and thinking about it, when every time that there was a Game Pass, I think you and I actually had this
Yeah, it
conversation
was last week.
specifically.
Mhm.
Yeah, so at some point, but these games that come out with all this extra content, I was saying, hey, why don't they offer a reduced price for the package deal for all the extra stuff
Mhm.
when I can get the Game Pass game, right?
Mhm.
Because for a while there, you still had to buy like the
Full price.
ultimate, like, and I was talking about EA, I was talking about like Ubisoft.
Right.
Like, I'm like, hey, if your game shows up in Game Pass, why don't you offer a reduced price for the add-ons, or for the ultimate package upgrade or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it? And I think that Xbox is actually showing the way right here with Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
I think they did a great job with this, offering that for a discounted price. Yeah, you don't own the game, so you're just buying this, upgrade. But hey, if that's my choice, that's my choice. And now we see it with Skyrim as well, right? So Skyrim's going to offer $20 for the upgrade for anybody who owns a special edition. Well, that includes the Game Pass people because the special edition's in there. So it's just a way to, even though I'm not going to own the game at the end of the day, it's a way to get you invested into that ecosystem for that specific game without trying to force you into buying the full game
Yep.
if you don't want to at that
Yep.
point. And then if it ever comes again for like a third party title for like a Back for Blood or for a Battlefield or whatever the case, or I should say Battlefield because it's not in Game Pass yet. But down the road it will be because of EA. Why not offer that? Because then when somebody makes that commitment, chances are if it's ever going to leave Game Pass,
They're gonna buy it.
They're going to buy it.
Yep.
Right.
Guaranteed.
They're going to buy the game.
Guarantee. Right. I feel like that should be the model going forward. Release your, if Game Pass becomes as prevalent as we think that it's going to be, release your game to Game Pass and make me buy the DLC content. Make me buy the season pass. You have to anyway. I was going to have to spend, if without it, if you're going to charge me $30, $40, $50 for extra content anyway, or for the ultimate package after spending $60 for the game, get that bag from whoever it is you're going to be part of the service with, and then make me feel like I'm forced to buy the DLC because it's just an added benefit. And guess what? The game's going to be in there at least as long as that DLC is going to drop. At least that long, because I mean that's what's happened so far. So, and then by that point, you have the game could be in a reduced price, whatever else the case might be. The game could be half price, $30. Guess what? That's a guaranteed buy. Boom. What you do right there, that's a guaranteed game buy right there. Yes, you got it over time, but you're also collecting $15 a month from people, $10 to $15 a month, not counting if you raise the price. You're also getting that automatic DLC up front. Again, you want people to invest in future content. That's one way to guarantee it. You're not pigeonholing people.
Correct.
You're giving people the option. Yeah, we're still going to do that. But guess what? You want the ultimate version? Extra $40 right now. $35 on Game Pass if you got Game Pass.
Yep.
All right, I'll buy it right now. Why not?
Right.
Like, this is the first time, I'll give you a perfect example. This is the first time in Horizon. Yes, was it some FOMO? Yes, was it also me just being a Horizon fan or a Forza fan more so?
Right.
Yes. But this is the first time that I bought all the DLC for Forza from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I didn't have to buy the game.
Yeah.
I didn't.
That's right. That's right.
I didn't.
Exactly.
And it was on sale. And I got to play it early.
Yeah.
Now, has this happened before in some way? I think Horizon 4 was the same thing. I think Motorsport was the same thing. They dropped into Game Pass. I don't think they had cut deals on the DLC or whatever the case might be. And I've never.
I don't remember up front if they had. I don't think they did because I would
think they did.
Probably done it because I always wait for a sale for the Ultimate Edition.
Right.
And like later in life,
$40.
Or like Forza 7, I just played the Game Pass version, the standard version.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it was getting delisted, then they put the Ultimate on sale for $20. Right.
Yeah.
And so I just picked up the Ultimate, so I own it.
Yeah.
So when it gets delisted, I don't have to worry about it. Right. So that's usually what I do. But yeah, I really do think, Steel, that this is the way forward. I think Redfall next year,
wrong with it.
They're going to have season passes. It's a looter shooter. We know this. It's coming. I think that they'll do the same thing. I think they'll offer a premium upgrade package deal for Game Pass users so you don't have to buy the whole game. And then I think Starfield, if Starfield has DLC, if they have planned DLC for it, which I'm sure they will, and early access, I'll be there. Well, you already know I'm going to be saving up this whole entire next year for the collector's edition of Starfield.
Oh yeah.
It's a one collector's edition I will buy, unless it's junk. But if they do that briefcase with the Starfield watch, I'm buying the collector's edition. But I'm just saying, I think the way forward for the first party, Microsoft especially, Xbox especially, is they're going to start offering this early access along with any premium upgrades, any DLC season passes, whatever it may be. They're going to offer it as a discount. And I think we're going to see it in Halo next with that early offer. And I think that's how they're going to entice people. And again, it worked with Forza Horizon beautifully. I'm sure Microsoft is kicking back. After I saw that number today, I was like, damn.
Game's not even out yet.
Yeah, not even out yet. You sold a million even a million premium packages. That's still $45 per one of those. If everybody bought it through Game Pass.
And guess what?
That's not,
$45 for premium access. You're paying $15 a month for Game Pass. Guess what? You still paid $60 for that game.
Yeah, right. If you want to, yes.
If you wanted to break it down, like it's just, I'm being petty in that way because it just what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? Like, and you're getting more content than just. That's been also the other problem is over the years people don't buy content.
Right.
You play the game and that's it. What if you single player games you get it's on a service and then you buy all the DLC and guess what? You'll more than likely come back because you bought the DLC. It's not an afterthought.
Yes. Correct.
It just makes so much sense to do it that way, and I feel like we're really hitting on like an integral point right here because this again shows us it's the perfect model, man, and there's nothing wrong with it. No. Again, you're doing nothing but giving the devs more. So many people are worried about the devs getting paid. Guess what? This is a guaranteed way to make sure that they're getting paid.
Right.
And guess what? If a million different versions of the premium copy sold for Forza, guess what? They made their money.
Right. And I think third parties are going to look at this and might catch on. I hope they catch on like Stalker, right? Stalker 2, coming next year.
That'd be a good one too.
That would be a great one because they've got an Ultimate Edition as well, right? So that'd be perfect to do that option. Game Pass, you can get the standard edition. Otherwise, here's the ultimate upgrade for a discounted price. And then even if that includes seasons that go beyond when Stalker 2 is going to be in Game Pass.
Right.
I don't know the legalities behind it. I'm assuming that it's legal to do that because somebody can buy stuff that they don't necessarily play. But at the end of the day, those people that did purchase that, if they love the game, they're going to wind up buying that game when it comes out.
Guaranteed. It's not going to be a problem because you're going to end up buying it. Yeah. Guaranteed. So, especially when the game ends up coming out. Because the other thing too is that you're not getting games on Game Pass and just thinking that you bought those games. Right. You're not thinking that. For anybody that thinks that people think that way, that's not the way that people are thinking. Like, you know what you're getting into. Again, somebody made the perfect reference. People don't say Game Pass is a Netflix of gaming because of whatever reason that you want to come up with. The only reason that comparison gets made is because there's a catalog of IPs within a service that you're paying a monthly fee for. That's the only comparison in any remote way that they're the same. Other than that, that's pretty much it. And I don't see what's wrong with going down that route. I think it's an amazing route.
1 hour decision says, when is Splinter Cell coming to Game Pass?
Yeah.
1 hour.
Yeah.
Not jinxing anything. You said it, not me. But we'll have to wait and see. But I think that announcement might come next year. So
or maybe that's the crazy announcement.
Or maybe that's the crazy announcement. But I think E3 next year. That would be.
Yeah, that would be Chef's Kiss. That would definitely knock it out of the park for them for sure. I think personally, but
yeah, exactly. Oh man, Steel. Hey, we're running good today, efficient today, brother.
Yeah.
We are on 2.5 hours. What do you want to do? Do you want to get everybody out of here, or do you want to show some people some of the smaller games we've seen?
We definitely need to show people some of these smaller games.
Okay, all right.
I definitely want to bring those up because another thing that me and Pong wanted to start doing is I don't know. We haven't quite figured it out yet. I guess it just depends on the flow of the show. But we do actually want to bring attention to some of the smaller IPs, some of the indie devs and everything that are doing some work behind the scenes that we just happen to pay attention to, or we happen to catch a whiff of, or whatever the case might be. There's a few out there that me and Pong have been kind of consistent about. Every time that we see them, we end up retweeting or commenting or sharing, just because both, I mean, out of the two, oh, really there's three. They all kind of speak my language. I'm pretty sure they speak Pong's language too.
Yeah.
But let's start off with the one I know that you dropped in there first. What is it? The let's do Kato first. We're gonna start with the Kato.
Okay.
Let's start with Kato
Then. I apologize to all the audio listeners. Yes, we are going to be showing the video behind the scenes.
Yes.
Again, Steele and I do retweet this stuff out.
Yes.
Eventually, here, Steele and I think if we're going to make this an official thing, if we start highlighting this on a regular basis, and again, there are so many games coming out from unknown devs now. These indie devs are off the charts, and it's worldwide. So Steele and I try to find these things. We follow a lot of different people that post this kind of stuff. And I think we're both probably going to try to do a little bit more of it, digging on our own, but maybe we'll start posting the links in the show page afterwards too. So anybody who does want to see what we're talking about here, you can catch up with us. So, but yeah, this first one, Kato, and this was by tweeted out by Nomad7, but from Kato by Imagine Dreams. Go ahead, Steele. You can read his tweet there if you've got it up.
Yeah, I got it up. Kato by Imagine Dreams, a single-player cyberpunk action RPG game mixing parkour movement with fast-paced, spectacular combat. Release and platforms are to be announced. This is a indie game made by the indie dev and is on UE4. Hopefully you guys can see that. Again, for our audio listeners, we're definitely going to try to make sure that we get some of these things in there. I try to pull up a video on this. For those who are listening, the name of the game is Project Kato from on YouTube. The most recent thing I was able to pull up was about from 8 months ago, so he doesn't look like he has uploaded anything too recently on YouTube, but I only did a quick search. He is way more active. They are way more active on Twitter, as far as like giving updates on the game and everything, but the video that is playing is gameplay for that game, and I have to say, man, does it mix the elements together? When it says that cyberpunk-esque RPG parkour game, that's exactly what it is. It kind of feels like Star Wars, and if Star Wars and Mass Effect had a not, maybe not Mass Effect. If Star Wars and what's another good shooter? Star Wars and maybe Devil May Cry may have a baby. It kind of feels that way in a third person kind of perspective. A little bit. Some of the combat looks really dope, like right here where he does a freeze frame and then he sends out the blade and it kind of does whatever. Man, that reminds me of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Some of the movements in there with him, I thought those moves were really dope. But this really entices me, man, because it's just, again, for Unreal Engine to be a engine that's free for most devs, and for them to kind of play around with and create these games in, to see something like this that I have not seen in other places, at least like the elements, also combining the shooter combat mixed in with the melee combat, and them being both pretty in depth, even though here it does seem to be kind of separate, because it doesn't, when he has guns out, he doesn't just switch over to a sword. He kind of cuts the gameplay and then switches to a sword, and then you see that. If it's versatile, the way you can kind of swap between both, I think that, like right there, he did it. He did do it right there to where he swapped from the sword and he pulled the gun from off his hip and started shooting. If it's going to be like that, man, this game is going to be, it kind of gives me like Blade Runner vibes in some moments. Or there was another game that was on Xbox 360 too. It was an online game, Shadowrun, I think it was called.
Shadowrun, the first person version.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It kind of gives me those feels too in some avs. How are you feeling about it, man? I know we've seen this quite a few times.
I love the movement. I love the particle effects, and right now it's hashtagged as UE4, so they're using Unreal Engine 4. So obviously they could probably even come up to 5 and do even more. But the RPG, when they say RPG, that's what obviously gets me, because that means this is not just going to be a typical straight shooter, right? This is not going to be your action game. So that means you're going to have skill sets that you're going to be able to bump up. So I can't wait to see more from this game. Obviously, it looks, from what they've shown here, this is early in development. Obviously, the enemy models are not in place. They've got the placeholders there. I don't think that's what they're going to look like. So at least I don't believe
working on it.
But but again, the movement is fluid. What we're seeing here is a great start to something. Again, these indie devs, like if you told me this was something in development from an Arcane, I wouldn't blink an eye. Like I wouldn't bat an eye. Like I'd be like, oh, okay. These indie devs, like you said, still have access to all the same stuff. Now it just depends on talent, it depends
Yep.
on time, depends into effort. But when these indie devs put this all together, this is what you get. And again, early look, a lot of the stuff in the environment isn't in place, but what's
Mhm.
there is looking solid. I love what I'm seeing here. Some of the special effects, unique. The moves, all of that just looks great. Like you said, when they pull out that lightsaber looking sword, man, that's
It's
that's pretty dope, man.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, no, love what I'm seeing here. So again, this is Kato by
Imagine
Imagine
Dreams.
Imagine Dreams.
Yeah, give
So
give them a
yeah,
follow. Give them
keep
a
your eye out.
follow. Let them
Yep.
know if you're liking it, man. Again, it's gonna be the same thing again that I've been doing with this next one that I'm about to bring up. I just been kind of following, and anytime that they post any information, retweeting them, letting them know, hey, if you need a game tester, let me know. I'm ready and willing. But yeah,
Exactly.
that's Kato by Imagine Dreams. Y'all stay on the lookout for that, man.
Yep.
So on
What's
to the
next, Steel?
next. We're gonna move into Morbid Metal.
Oh,
This is
this
another
one here.
game that is being made by a solo dev. He's making
Solo
this
dev.
game by himself in Unity. So that's the
Yeah, and
other
Steel
thing.
put this. Steel put me on this one. So this
This is
was this was a Steel classic right here. He
this
he popped
game
this one up early when we started talking.
I have been paying attention to from start to
Yeah,
finish. Felix Shade on Twitter. If you guys don't know who he is, give him a follow. Let him know that you're interested. When I start
in
playing,
solo dev.
this is him by himself, and this gives me Devil May Cry vibes. This gives me only Musha vibes. It gives me like there's some Soul Calibur feels in here in some portions. There's that Myth of Wukong kind of gameplay in here. There's like he transforms into a different character and brings this big ass axe out. And the combat looks so versatile, man, that man, I want to see more from this. Again, seeing these indie devs put this much work, or seeing this come from somebody doing it himself, one guy putting a game like this together, it just leads so much credence. Like right there, he had the blade and was sending the blades out like it was like phantom blades going out. I was like, oh my god, it's such an amazing thing to see what these indie devs are being able to create with more accessibility to different engines, to more tools. I know everybody makes fun of the tools, but this shows that tools really matter, man. Again, I'm pretty sure this isn't easy work. I wouldn't be able to go behind the scenes and go make a game like this, right? I'd have to go spend hours behind the scenes learning and paying attention. And you can obviously see that there's homages to so many different games in the gameplay style. Again, the biggest reason we want to bring attention to this, again, like we always say here, gaming is art, it should be treated as such. But this should just show you that the line between big double A, triple A, quad, whatever A game that you want to put out there, and the indie dev, these lines are starting to get meshed to where it's hard to tell. If you would have told me this game is being made, has some $100 million budget behind it, I'd have been like, yeah, it's believable. I can see it. Let me look at that.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And
it's
this
not.
guy, right, this is not. But this guy here too, he was doing regular updates for a while.
Yeah.
He had been quiet for a while before he put this one out. And yes, it's short, but you can go back and look through his Twitter page, and he's got lots of updates there, and you
Yeah.
can see the progress that he's made. It's always when Steele first showed me this game. Like Steele mentioned, the first thing that caught my eye was transforming in mid combat into a different character. That was super impressive, and you can see that he's working on lighting here. The environments are getting much more dense than
Yeah.
what he's had previously. A lot more complex moves out of this, but obviously he is working heavily on that combat. This is a straight combat uh, type of action game, and you can tell because, well, first of all, it's the most important thing when you play a game. What makes a game like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry special is the combat. It has to be fluid. It
Yes.
has to be spot on. Um, Otherwise, you will notice it instantaneously, and he is working on that. And again, just a solo dev working in Unity, creating this stuff. So go check him out. Again, his Felix is it's Felix Shade or Shad, however
Hmm.
you want to say it. And it's Morbid Metal, right?
Morbid Metal. Yep.
Yeah, Morbid Metal is the name of the game. So please go follow him, go check him out. Let him know that you're out there and you like what you see. Because again, as a solo dev, we've heard Joe Winter, Song of Iron, and we heard what he went through, right? And how it's a mental toll when you're a solo dev because you are giving
Yeah.
up your life. Especially if this guy, if you're working a real job on the side too, which many of these devs are,
Yeah.
to put all your extra time into a game, into a piece of art like this. Obviously, any support that you can show him, I'm sure is greatly appreciated by him, or her. So
Yeah.
please go check it out. But yeah, Morbid Metal, Felix Shade.
Facts. So yeah, definitely check it out. I'm gonna try to put it in the comments below where to find him on Twitter. Morbid Metal. I'm gonna put his Twitter name and everything after it. What's the name of the previous game that we just showed? I'm gonna put that in there too.
That was Kato. Kato by
Kato.
Imagine Dreams. Yeah. Yeah.
Send me their link, their Twitter handle in
Yep.
to me too, so I can put that in the comments below. I'm gonna put that all in the details and everything after the show, so you guys can have all that there. That way you can get to those links and everything. At some point I do want to let them know because I'm 100% behind them, man. Like there's no shadow of a doubt. Like as soon as this game releases, I need first dibs on it because it just looks too amazing. That's just my personal opinion. Again, that's the point of this segment. Just finding some indie games that we have found within the last couple weeks or so and kind of bringing some of the light to them. Speaking of, there is one more that I kind of wanted to show you people that was a Gundam-like Transformer game, kind of treading that water. Again, I'm a big proponent for those style of games. World on. So sorry for the audio portion on that. Let me back out of these. Perfect. But yeah, it's another one of this. I don't think this one has a name for it yet. This one I saw by Math Chief, the best of gaming on YouTube. You can check him out right here. But he kind of gave me a breakdown. This is how I saw it. I sent this to Pong in the DMs too.
It's called Phantom Galaxies.
Phantom Galaxies. Okay.
Yes.
I see. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
I'm gonna put that in there too. But Phantom Galaxies, man. When you seek, I'm a huge mech fan. Again, I'm a huge Gundam fan too, but just mech games overall, whether it's Chrome Hounds, whether it's Armor Core, whether it's Gundam, or it's games or Transformers or anything like that. I felt like Transformers did really well with treading that line for multiplayer, especially with being able to transform between the vehicles and the actual robots themselves, having different attacks. And then I've always looked forward to another style of game that could do something similar, but maybe have more of a cooperative base to it. So you and a buddy can get together, traverse the galaxy, take this mech that you customize or whatever the case might be. Kind of like how Armor Core used to be, except giving you the transformations and everything, the versatility, and just taking it over the top, right? Again, what makes Transformers so amazing is that it's already over the top. You got these huge transforming robots that turn into whatever they wanted to turn into, and then turn right back into regular mechs, fight these guys, do hand-to-hand combat, have these expansive different worlds and everything, have their own planets. And this game seems to be touching on all those same notes. This is another one of those games, again, being a fan of the mech genre, or just mechs overall, that could definitely pull my attention, that I'm definitely interested to see more about. I think the last time there was any updates on this was October 19, 2021. That's when this update for this video has dropped. So definitely check this out if you're a mech fan. How are you feeling about this, Pong? I sent this to you because I felt like you might have some interest in it, man. What did you think about it?
Yeah, and I'm dropping you the official announced trailer that they did launch from their official site. So this is by a little bit bigger, a little bit more well-known. Blowfish has been around for a while, and Animoca Brands, which I've never heard of, but that doesn't mean that they haven't done something. Yeah, Blowfish for sure I've heard of. So, so for me, anytime you're going to say Transformers, anytime you're going to give me Robotech vibes with space combat like they have in this, uh, look, you've got my attention. Now, again, the one thing with this game that the video that that Steel was pointing out, the one thing that they are talking about is using NFTs in this game.
Yeah.
So that's the one unique part about this game, and depending on how you feel about NFTs in the future that they might bring to gaming, this game seems to be embracing it. So it's going to be interesting how they do it. But look, overall, gameplay looks phenomenal. Upgradable mechs. You know you've got me when you've got mechs. You've got land combat. You've got air combat. Transforming mid combat. Awesome. Again, you give me that Gen 1 Transformers Robotech vibes. You have got me sold already. So I am going to be watching this. I don't know if it's coming to console or just PC only. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be PC to start out. But I will be keeping my eye on this. Obviously, Steel, as the huge fan, will for certain be checking this out. So when it comes to that, and hopefully we can have some updates and maybe get it looks like they're ready to rock and roll here. There's no dates yet as far as what they're aiming for, but it looks like they're already far into development. And so I am definitely all ready for something like this. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
The main thing, the gameplay that I'm showing here is in-engine beta gameplay footage. The other thing that I do want to notice that I did take as a negative from this is that as much as the space combat and overall movement and everything seems fine, when they're actual on world or on surfaces walking, they don't seem like they're a part of the world, which I'm a big proponent for.
When you're always about that.
Yeah, when the character feels like it's disconnected from the world, it does something for me personally that just pulls me out of the experience. Again, maybe it's just a me thing, but I want the characters to feel like they're a part of the experience that they're giving me, not on top of the experience. You know what I mean? Again, it's an early development. We'll definitely see. I'm highly interested in it. They got a lot of good things going for it. They could drop another Armored Core, and I'd be all for that. Like a modern day Armored Core. Oh my God, that would be a completely different topic. But PlayStation can get me with that right now. Even though Armored Core over the last decade or so has been cross-gen or cross-platform, I should say. But that's pretty much all the indie titles that I had on my radar. How about you, Pong? Is there anything else that you wanted to bring in or speak on?
No, no, we covered those three. We can save a couple for next week too. So you had shown me that Honor of Kings one.
Yes.
That was but that was a little bit bigger because that had been out previously it was based on a mobile game that had already been out, but they're turning it into a big RPG. We'll save that one for next week. We are coming up on the 3-hour mark, especially when you do the Make Me Feel Old segment. So we can get everybody out of here on good time. But no, I think we'll start doing this on a regular basis. Steel,
I like it.
Well, yeah, no, so do I. Obviously, I mean, we've been pointing out, anybody who's been following us and listening to us for the past 31 weeks knows that whenever we see something, we've been touting all these indie devs that are coming out, the talent in this world right now with the accessibility as big as it has ever been, as open as it has ever been. These indie devs that have are able to use the same tools as the big boys.
Right.
They're coming out with some incredible stuff. We are going to have games come out of the blue that absolutely blow our mind. I have no doubt about that. We're already seeing it again. Black Myth Wukong came out of absolutely nowhere. Ooh. And that, again, if you ask anybody who's in the know, anybody who's paying attention within this community, Black Myth Wukong is at the top of the most wanted list right now. And that's from a nobody team. I'm not going to say a nobody team because I don't know. They are former Tencent employees and devs, so they have had experience. But again, to form a studio, walk into UE4, come out with the initial trailer, blow everybody's mind, the producer or the lead developer comes out and says, I'm not happy with it, so we're going back to work. Then what is it, 8 months later, come out with a new trailer, say, by the way, we're moving to UE5,
Yep.
show off an a snow dragon in the Eastern style that absolutely just blows everybody's mind even more. That's what we're talking about, that we're going to see more and more of that. Bright Memory Infinite did it last year as well. A solo dev came out, and even though obviously some people did not like the tech demo, for a solo dev, a guy in his apartment in China working diligently, giving up his life to work on a game, and shows up, and again, another visually, again, I haven't played it, but visually, if you just looked at it and you told me a big studio was working on that and they had 100 people on that, I wouldn't have blinked. I wouldn't have said, you're kidding me, right? I would have said, oh, okay, cool.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Solo dev, solo guy. And now he's got a little bit bigger team, but still nothing major. I can't wait to see when Infinite hits, but that's what we're talking about. This is what we're going to see. It may be by the end of this generation that line has blurred so much that we don't even really talk about it like that anymore. That is just, hey, games are games. Yeah, we give them credit for being indie devs. We give them credit for being a smaller team. All that good stuff continues. But at the end of the day, we really don't have that separation anymore. And maybe by the end of this generation, when it comes to game awards, you're seeing a mix, not just the throw in indie title, but you're seeing a mix of indie devs and big titles competing for those big awards, for those games of the year, for everybody's money. And it doesn't really matter anymore whether you're big or small. I think that's where we're headed, because again, the talent out there that's being found, it's off the charts right now. It's crazy, man. So
yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, I know we always say, oh, it's the goal. We always say it's golden age of gaming. We're not playing though, man, like that. We don't say that just to be funny. We don't say that, oh, it's just some funny catchphrase. It's true. We're just the indie devs being able to put out the amount of talent they're putting out, the amount of content that they're putting out, and the way that they have it at the quality that they're putting it out at, should tell you enough that it should tell you enough about what's going on within the industry and what's going on within the overall gaming space, man. And that's what you should be hyped for, instead of fucking downplaying dumb stuff. But that's neither here or there. With that being said, as Pong stated, it is that time to get into this day in gaming segment, where we go back within 30 years of the past gaming history and bring light to it, man. Again, gaming is art and should be treated as such. Pong says it makes him feel old. Hopefully it makes y'all feel old too. No, I'm just joking. That's not the point of it. Again, the point is to bring the light to the gaming overall, to see where we have come from, to see how we've kind of evolved today, and just kind of reminisce on everything, man. Because sometimes, unless certain games, I know I'm like that, where unless you bring the name of the game up, I'm probably not going to remember it. There's a lot of games that are like that. I've played so many games over the years that sometimes it's nice to just go back and reminisce on what released today in gaming. So let's get to it. So I'm going to go pull this up. So on this day in gaming, let me adjust some things in the background while I do this for you. This is brought to you by GameFAQs again. Shout out to them for keeping this list up, because I sure enough would have not had the time to do this. So shout out to y'all for constantly keeping this updated and keeping me good to go for this day in gaming segment. So, but we're going to start off with 20 years ago. On November 6, 2001, PlayStation 2 released Capcom versus SNK 2, Mark of the Millennium. 2001. Man, I remember playing this game in the arcade. Goodness gracious. I feel like, again, I always say these things, and I feel like it's kind of funny at some point, but I feel like I'm part of the last generation that actually put quarters down to get down on the arcade, or just to play a game. That really remembers what that felt like, and that was a little over a decade for me, so that's kind of crazy to think about. But this is definitely one of those games that did that, along with Marvel vs. Capcom 3, most amazing, or Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I should say, excuse me. Some of the most amazing arcade style games, fighting games for sure. It's kind of sad to see the downfall of fighting games over the years, it not be as popular, but again, with everything being the way that it is and everybody fighting for exclusives, Like I keep saying, leave fighting games on everything. That's the only way to keep that genre alive and keep it thriving and keep people actively engaged in it. So amazing thing. 2003, PlayStation 2 released Siren in Japan. I'm not familiar with that game. I don't think I've heard of Siren. 2006, DS released Elite Beat Agents. Not familiar with that game at all. So there's that for anybody who played the DS. Maybe you know what that is. The Game Boy Advance also released Final Fantasy V Advance. Don't remember that game either, but of course it did.
Of course it did.
And then in 2007, DS released Dragon Quest Monsters Joker. Then DS also released Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga.
Everybody released the Lego Star Wars.
Everybody released it that year, right? Everybody released. Great game. I wasn't expecting for that to come out on DS too. I didn't.
Yeah,
that's what
for sure.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm kind of hyped for the Skywalker Saga because I believe it's aren't they remastering it? Like aren't they completely redoing it?
Supposedly, yes.
Supposedly, quote unquote.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. The Lego games usually end up being pretty good, so I guess we'll see.
They always are.
Then on PSP, Silent Hill was released. Silent Hill Origins. For those who are interested in that, I'm not a Silent Hill fan. I'm not a scary game fan. PC did release in 2007 Supreme Commander. You know, I keep saying I keep saying the death of RTS was about StarCraft 2, but maybe it was Supreme Commander. I think right after Supreme Commander, I think that's when I stopped playing. Supreme Commander was another awesome RTS game. Again, if you like mechs and everything, it took that and took it to that next echelon, man, as far as RTSs go.
It was even good on
console too.
On console.
Amazing.
I struggled through it, but I actually, again, once you got the controls down, yes, it was clunky as all get out.
It felt like a PC game on console.
Right. But once you played with it for long enough, you got used to it. Supreme Commander 2 was absolutely phenomenal.
Supreme Commander 2 was good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Then in 2008, DS released Nostalgia. How about that?
Play on words? That? Ooh. Release Nostalgia all the time.
Yeah, there you go.
Live with it.
Shout out to Nintendo. No. 2012, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 both released Dragon Ball Z Budokai HD Collection. The Budokai, man, it's a series that it's a classic within itself, man. I got most of the Budokai games imported. So I got the Japanese versions, all the extra characters and everything.
Say this is a steel classic.
So right? it's always been an amazing thing for me.
It's a love relationship.
Again, it doesn't get any better than that. It's kind of why I can't get into fighters. It's why I can't get into the new Dragon Ball games. It's like Xenoverse treaded that line very finely. But then I just couldn't. I'm just not as much of a fighter fan as I used to be. And I think the fighting system in the game is kind of corny with the break system and all that, the stamina system. I felt like it was done better in Budokai Tenkaichi back in the day, but that's just me. Again,
for any of our audio listeners that can't see Steele's face right now, you see a man in true love, and he's thinking about the past and the memories about his first true love. You can see it.
I'm definitely thinking about it. Opening those capsules to see what character I was going to get next or what move I was going to get next. Oh my god, it was an experience. But anyway, then 2012 Xbox 360 released a game that's kind of been up and down. Halo 4. Again, another classic for me personally. I've enjoyed every Halo for what they were. Again, kind of like we do kind of here with the different shows and everything that the different companies host, where we treat everything within a vacuum. That's kind of how I treat Halo. Yes, I do look at the entire story overall. I also treat each individual game as though they're in a vacuum by themselves. So there hasn't been a Halo that I haven't personally liked myself, whether on both sides, multiplayer or single player. Again, we can have that conversation on both up or down or which one was better, one way or the other. But Halo 4, man, a classic game on 360, especially for the timing. Beautiful game, beautiful game. Then in 2012, 3DS released Harvest Moon 3D, A New Beginning. Shout out to Lady AF. That's probably one of her classics.
The lady.
Then in 2012, PC released Mass Effect Trilogy. Again, for this game to have come out this isn't the first time the game's been re-released. So they released the trilogy then, and then they re-released the Legendary Edition, which I did end up playing. Again, Mass Effect being a GOAT in its own right. I definitely put Mass Effect in my top 5 games of all time at this point, for sure. Especially after playing it in its totality this year. I definitely put it in my top 5. It's just games overall.
I just love hearing you say that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a fact. I enjoyed it. Mass Effect gave me a new understanding of what RPGs can be. Not only that, the depth of what an RPG can be, and the expectation for storylines. It's something that I've always kind of looked forward to see, branching paths, things to be completely based off of, to see it carry on through multiple games. It's kind of like why I enjoy Gears or any Halo, any other franchise that has multiple games. You want to see that story continue, but it's different when it's your personalized story, especially with your own customized character. You're making decisions that carry over game to game, that have an influence on everything. Mass Effect definitely opened that spectrum for me and helped me realize, give me a higher appreciation than I probably would have had for it previously. Again,
right.
It was an amazing thing, and I had an awesome time with it. So there's that.
Hey, Steel, before you move on, got a question from the chat for you.
Yeah.
Misuko came up with Steel Rain. Which fighting game are you looking forward to the most that could revitalize the genre? Are there any out there right now that you could think of offhand?
The only games that I would personally want to come back, and I know a lot of people try to typically lean towards Killer Instinct. I'm not a Killer Instinct fan. I don't like Killer Instinct like that. But I'm also not a fan of that style of combat, like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, that side-scrolling combat. I don't like that. I've never been a huge fan of that. Mortal Kombat is kind of like the extent for me. That's like, that's where I draw the line. So if I had to pick, it's going to be Tekken. I feel like Tekken is the number one IP that has such a recognizable, not only face, but also characters. Soul Calibur 2 in some aspects, but I feel like Soul Calibur has kind of jumped off the wagon a little bit. I feel like if Soul Calibur did what they used to by tying characters to certain platforms and everything, that it would probably bring that hype back, because that was an amazing thing when you had Yoda versus Darth Vader, or you had Link versus Spawn, or you had these different characters coming in from these different games and getting put into Soul Calibur. That's what made it so enticing. Or when you had the freaking dude from the Force Unleashed in the game, in there was that 4 that they did that in.
Did they do
5?
that?
Yeah,
they did. They had
Yoda, Darth Vader, him in there. Yeah, they had all 3 characters in there, and they had Ezio Auditore in there.
I forgot completely about that.
Yeah,
they actually did that.
Or was it? Either way, and they had the Assassin's Creed character in there. But that's what I'm saying. Like, and you were able to customize them and everything. Like, you have their fighting styles and everything. Like, that is going to be the way.
Star Killer.
There you go.
Me there. I was racking my brain. I'm like, how can I forget this? I love Force Unleashed. Star Killer.
Yeah, but Star Killer. But he was in there too. So
have they announced a new Tekken?
No, not yet. They're still living off of Tekken 7 right now.
Okay.
Pretty heavily. I think they just recently started. I think within the last year or so put out the last DLC that was available for Tekken. That's another one I don't understand why they didn't update for new consoles, because if you're going to try to play it, it looks really grainy. But it doesn't look like that on PC. I think it's just a resolution thing, and I don't know why they don't go in and fix it, because I mean Tekken 7 plays amazing, but again, if I had to pick, it's going to be Tekken 7 or Soul Calibur, just because I feel like they have the most reach.
God, I want Xbox to get Bandai Namco.
Oh,
they're on a roll, man.
God. Oh my God! If they did that, we would have so much potential. I mean, I would love to see another Dragon Ball Budokai game come out, or just another Dragon Ball game that had released all the content day one or within the first year or something. Like, give me more content than the basic story every time. Like, I that's what I hate about Dragon Ball, and why I wouldn't typically go down that spectrum with it. But yeah, that's what I would choose, Tekken or Soul Calibur.
All right, cool. Awesome.
For sure. All right. Then that same year, 2012, PSP released Pro Evolution Soccer 2013. Pro Evolution Soccer has been kind of up and down. I know the recent one's been getting a lot of flack because a lot of character models and everything don't look the greatest. It's one of those things,
at one time it was the best.
Yeah, at one time it was like right there with FIFA. It was like either way you picked, you weren't wrong. You know what I mean? Where now it's like, if you're not picking FIFA, I don't know what the fucking soccer game you're playing. Or football game you're playing.
Well, it ain't about to be FIFA no more.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah, I guess.
Supposedly Take-Two is looking at buying it.
Hey, FIFA said they tired of that shit.
Yeah, I know. EA said they're tired of the paying. Jesus.
Whatever.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. EA is going to take a real quick trip down to
reality.
Yeah, real quick. you keep thinking that this shit is a game. Let Battlefield fuck around and fuck up too. You're gonna be in a real deep hole, not wanting to renew that FIFA deal.
That's right.
Hey, it is what it is. Hey, more power to the sports people, man. Let more people make sport games. You're not going to get evolution or a further, a better sports games without it. Without competition, it's not going to happen. Nobody wants to play. I mean, sure, people play Madden, people play FIFA, people play 2K all the time, but people are getting tired of the same old shit all the time. It is what it is. Then on PSP, they also released Ragnarok Tactics. I'm not familiar with that game. 2015, PlayStation 4 released and Xbox One released Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Oh my God. Black Ops was good, but it was good after 2 was it. That's where it stops at. Black Ops 2, that's the final form. Black Ops 3, it wasn't Black Ops 3 the one that was multiplayer only?
Ooh, good question.
If I'm not mistaken.
I think you are right that
I believe it was the one that was multiplayer only. I believe Black Ops 3 didn't have a campaign. I could be wrong on that. If I'm wrong, let me know, and I'm just talking on my ass. But I know this Black Ops 3 is when they did release their first battle royale. Shortly afterwards, where it was like its own stand when the Call of Duty first started doing the whole
Black Ops 3 still had the camp.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. Okay, so that's fine. But I do believe that this is the one that they actually. Oh, that's Blops 4. Okay, so Black Ops 4 is the one I'm thinking of then. Okay. And that's the case, whichever one. So never mind on that. Black Ops 3, I felt like I fell off the train on this one too. Black Ops 2 again. I'm still gonna stay on that line. Black Ops 2 was the last time that Call of Duty was really like up there for me personally. I felt like that way about Warzone for quite a bit too, where it was really good, and then it just, I mean, it's Warzone. It's Call of Duty. Like I don't know. I feel like I not that I'm necessarily outgrown Call of Duty. I just don't have the same love for Call of Duty that I used to. Just because of the up and downs, the cheating, them not taking themselves seriously, the innovation not being there, the willingness to release a game that has older guns with new attachments to it. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm not about to fall for these antics that y'all think that I'm just dumb enough to fall for. And if you're for that, then more power to you, man. It is what it is.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are.
Well, more power to you. Don't want y'all to feel weird about it. I mean, enjoy what you enjoy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Play what you love what you play.
100%. Then in 2015, the 3DS released Yokai Watch. I heard of the show. I don't think I'd ever play the game. I don't think I'd ever watch the show. But for those of y'all might be into Yokai Watch, check it out, man. There you go. There's something just for you. Then in 2018, PlayStation 4 released The Forest. Ooh.
God, I don't remember that.
I remember that game either. And then Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 released World of Final Fantasy Maxima. And with that, well, I get my a burp out, sorry. That is your This Day in Gaming segment, where we bring light to the games within the last 30 years of gaming history, and treat gaming as art as it should be treated. What's up? What happened?
No, I'm laughing at you burping.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to fight through it. I'm fighting through it, man. God damn. But yeah, that was your This Day in Gaming segment. With that, man, we are towards the end of the show.
by the way.
That
So
made you feel old? I mean, hey,
yeah, of course you did.
as long as I accomplished my goal, that was the main. That's the main
Of
thing.
course you did, Steel. That's what you do best.
That's the
Let's
main
go.
thing.
Yep.
Hey man, well, Pong, I feel like another episode 32, man. It's in the books. I feel like it was another amazing show. We actually, I felt like we were going to end up deep diving some of the other topics a little further than we did. I know I felt like you haven't had a huge chance to talk on a bunch of different things throughout the week, like you can here. So I thought that conversation was going to go a lot deeper. Again, it's not like a bunch of stuff has been going on this week. As far as like gaming overall, there has been quite a few different things. Like China getting rid of Fortnite. Delisting Fortnite.
I did not hear about that.
Yeah, apparently that's something else that's going on within the industry. There's a lot of crazy things going on. China goes by a lot of different rules too. That's neither here or there, but that is something else to pay attention to. There's a lot of different crazy things that are going on, man. One of the things that I'm glad about, for us at least, is that we get to come here, talk about things at different angles, not talk about them the same way everybody else talks about them, and just be passionate, be authentic, be energetic, and giving people that energy boost to get into that weekend. Again, I feel that play on words with Living SplitScreen works so well with us. Not only on a co-op side of things, but also just as two guys getting together, doing podcasting, talking about gaming, and doing it to the level that we do it at least. I know we're not perfect. Again, we wish that we could spend so much more time in the background on this, doing more shows throughout the week, whatever the case might be. One day, hopefully we can get there where maybe me and Pong can live off this, man. That'd be nice. Talk about gaming all day, but
I ain't gonna argue.
There you go. But with that, Pong, I do want to give the ball off to you first. Lead the people to victory, man. Let them know where they can find you, and I'll let you get all your whole outro. I know some people like to pick on you about it. I like to hear it. Let the people know where they can find you, man.
Nah, brother, Steel, you know what it is, man. Hey, look, we were just efficient today. That's the way I like to think of it. We were efficient. We got through the topics we really wanted to hit today. We did it in good time. Still 3-hour plus show as always. And we gave the people a look at some, smaller games that maybe nobody else is looking at or talking about. Hey, I got off everything I wanted to say. So don't ever think I'm not getting off what I want to say. Pause. Because at the end of the day, that's what I come here to do. And I think that we did a great job today, Steel. I was interested in hearing your thoughts on Sega. Got that. Again, that's the stuff that's important, and not every week is going to be explosive, but we did have some good stuff this week. And I think that it is important that we talk about it here, whether I've talked about it previously or not. Again, your thoughts are more important to me, and I like to get I like hearing my own voice. I'm not here to lie to anybody. So I like talking. And I think that we did a great job today, as always. So episode 32 of Living SplitScreen, your favorite Saturday morning show, replaced cartoons for you as an adult. That's what we do here. Living SplitScreen episode 32 is in the books, and it was a great one. And chat, you guys were awesome. There was some really good discussion in there again. Reading up on it, you guys were bringing it today. Love you all. Nothing but respect, again, each and every week, each and every show that you guys come to, because that's what it's all about. Gamers getting together and talking about the thing that they love the most, the passion, one of their favorite hobbies. That's what this is about, and that's what Steel and I created this for. So love you all. Thank you for showing up. Pong Soul, Xbox, Twitter, you know the drill. By now, you should know it by heart. Tonight, the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam, Centurion, Fuzzy Belvedere. We have Just Key, who is in our chat coming in. Awesome member of the community. He is doing more shows now. He's on with Mav on FSP. He's got a great channel. Go check out Just Key, but he is going to be on tonight, so I can't wait to hear his thoughts. Always well-formed, well-opinionated. So Just Key tonight, Shop Podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. That's on PTK Blam's channel. Then back on Tuesday, Xbox Factor Podcast, Mr. Boomstick, Double Barrel Gaming is the channel's name. Zemi Games, Mav is now a part of the show. 3-Bit when he is available. He is ultra busy making music videos, making games. The dude is unbelievably talented. And then Archimedes and of course myself will be there 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time, all things Xbox. You know what you get out of Boom Show. So drop on by Tuesday. And then Thursdays, PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM over on Fun Speculations channel. The dude is nuts. He's creating so many shows. I don't know how he does it. He's sick. He can't even talk right now, but he's trying to power through. But PM in the PM, Mav and I deep dive 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 topics, depending on the week. And we just sit and talk, much like Steel and I do here, and give our thoughts. That is Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. And then Fridays, Xbox Ultimate. Last night was crazy. We had, Mav had Fonz all set up. Fonz was there, but then all of a sudden Wandering Dutch hit Mav up as well and asked if he could show up. So Brother Dutch shows up as well. Plus we had the whole Magnificent Seven back. So you had 9 people last night. It was crazy. We didn't get to too many topics last night because we were just talking about stuff. And we took a left turn, thanks to me, into Nintendo of all things. So come check out
for a while.
I was mad I brought it up. Anyways, all I said was Metroid Dread, and it turns into a 45, almost hour-long conversation about Nintendo and what they need to do differently. But Xbox Ultimate is always a great time on Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Come check us out there. And then next week, episode 33, like them double threes, man. We are back. Me and Steel will be here again. Maybe we'll have more thoughts on Forza Horizon. I will definitely have thoughts on Battlefield. I'm sure Steel will probably jump in with me too as well. So we'll have thoughts on Battlefield 2042, let you know if everything has been corrected or if it's still in a bad state. But we're going to have plenty to talk about next weekend as well. I'm sure there's going to be some more big news as we come up on the 20th anniversary of Xbox. And you never know when PlayStation is going to show up with something. So see us there. But otherwise, gamers, it is the golden age of gaming. We're trying to pump this into your head so that that's instantly what you think about. Again, there's never been a greater time to be a gamer than it is right now. There is so much to play. I have so much stuff on Game Pass I haven't even touched yet, Steel. You know me as the grazer. There's so much out there. It's unbelievable. I have all these games I have not even come close to touching. And then I got Skyrim Anniversary. I've got Forza Horizon 5. I've got Battlefield coming out to absorb all my time. So guess what, gamers? Go enjoy it. Whatever you are playing, play what you love what you play. Go enjoy this time.
100%.
Steel, let the people know what you are about and get us out of here, brother.
Hey, man, look. If y'all haven't found out yet, I do have some good news. I actually was able to change my PlayStation ID because they finally let you change names to I Still Reign I, so you can officially type in anywhere. PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Google, Twitter. Type in I Still Reign I everywhere. The T is a 7. For those who don't know, you can just call me Steel or Steel Reign, whichever. But yeah, man, just type it in. You'll find me. Hit me up in the DMs. Hit me up in a message. You trying to get down to some races, hit me up. If you're just trying to get some gaming in, hit me up. I'll let you know straight up whether we can get down or not. I'm not one of these people who like to placate. Again, I'm also not one of these people who just jump in random people parties and just want to be part of the crew. No. If you want me to be there, holler at me, shoot me a message, be like, yo, you trying to run it? You want to hop in the party? Let me know. And then we can go from there, man. Other than that, I definitely hope that the week has treated everyone lovely. I do and am excited to see you guys next week on episode 33. Again, here where we keep it live, raw, and uncut every 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and 3 p.m. UK time, though I think that is actually changing because of daylight savings. I believe it works a little bit differently. We need to get with some people in the background and make sure on that it's not 2 p.m. UK time with the time change and everything. So keep me quoted on that. Again, we're not going to change the times over here. Whatever the case might be, it's going to be pretty much the same. Other than that, y'all keep it live, raw, and uncut. Also, hit that like button, sub, that bell notification on your way out so you know exactly when we go live. Again, for those who do listen, we greatly appreciate you guys. This show will end up going live at some point today when I end up getting some time into it. Usually it's about an hour after the show, so definitely stay on the lookout for that. Other than that, good to see you lovely people here. Like Pong says all the time, play what you love what you play. Other than that, stand on your ground on what you are as a gamer. Don't let nobody bully you into whatever, about whatever. Again, nobody in the community defines what a gamer is. Again, there's so many different ways that we can have honest conversations and point things out, versus just bullying people, just to bully people, because y'all are bored. So with that being said, much love to y'all. Y'all stay easy. May the gods walk with y'all. We'll catch y'all next week on Living Split Screen.
See you in Mexico.
Peace. Well, that's a fact. See y'all in Mexico, baby. Viva la raza! Peace.